Live and local, it's time for Fan Sports Sunday. If the weekend is a big desert for sports talk, think of this show as an oasis.
Yes, here we go.
Come drink from our pool of hot takes as you quench your thirst with. I thought I was going somewhere, but I'm not. So let's just start the show.
I still, no matter how many times I do this, I'm still waiting to here's Elon Musk, because that was our entrance for so long on Fan Sports Sunday. Hello, everybody. Glad to have you along. I am Ryan Baker. He is Dylan Tyrer. Nate Puterball, you heard on the other side of the glass there doing the updates. Welcome into, for once, not a sprint of a Fan Sports Sunday.
Yeah, we got a while today.
The last couple times we've done this, we just had that little 1 hour or 1 hour and 5 minute show. We've got 3 full hours today, and luckily, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. You know, football's back, so that means there is a lot to talk about. We've got the Tour Championship in golf finishing up today, so that's exciting. The baseball playoff race is in full swing right now.
That's not so exciting right now.
Not for Ohio teams,
fans.
no. But I'm with you. Like, it's nice to not have to kind of jet through a show with you. I'm happy that we have some time to sit down, talk things over. We've got some fun stuff that we're going to talk about as well. A couple of top 5 lists that I'm fired up to hear what you and Nate have to say about those different things. So, yeah, I'm into it. I'm fired up for this one, and I can't wait for 3 hours with you.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And you mentioned football is back. It's kind of been back. We've had NFL preseason football here throughout the month of August. Week 0, though, we had college football games that matter yesterday. A big top 25 matchup. Iowa State gets a win over Kansas State. Did you guys, because I will admit, I did not watch any of it. How much of Iowa State, Kansas State did you guys watch?
So I caught the fourth quarter of that game. I would have watched the entire thing, and I would have watched more college football yesterday, but I had to go to a wedding. Mm-hmm. Shout out the Mancinottis. It was a great wedding. But I caught the fourth quarter because I looked at the score. I had a little bit of time. I looked at the score. I saw things were interesting. I saw Kansas State go down, I think, 10 at one point. Then they came back to make it a 3-point game, and then they used all their timeouts trying to stop Iowa State, and Iowa State was able to convert. I thought Kansas State was going to have a chance and stop Iowa State, but the Cyclones were able to convert and then kneel the ball out on like the 1 yard line, which I also hate seeing. Just punch it in.
But it might have been better for them that the quarterback or whoever it was, his arm went down and they didn't score, because maybe Kansas State would have got the ball back and had a chance. I understand what you're saying. Go ahead and score, but that might have saved them in the long run. I know, Nate, you talked about earlier today, you watching Portland State and Tarleton State.
A 42-0 FCS game yesterday.
Who won?
Tarleton State killed them.
Man, yes. Portland State is awful.
They're not very good.
They've played a couple of, I want to say now that things have changed, but before they would play like a couple non-conference games against Pac-12 teams and stuff like that. And, oh, God. They're getting beat 42-0 by Tarleton State. That's tough for the I can't remember what Portland State's mascot is. I feel like it has something to do with aviation. I can't remember.
We'll pull that up. How about Farmageddon, though, Nate? How much of that did you watch?
So I was in studio for the first half, which helped. So we were able to watch that in real time and see just the awful weather in that first quarter with the fog and the rain coming out everywhere. A very Irish day. And then I got home in time for the fourth quarter.
I think Portland State's the Vikings.
The Vikings is what I'm saying. That was close, but
I was sad to see Kansas State lose that game, though, because I really like Avery Johnson, their quarterback, and I thought for the most part he put together a pretty nice day. But he was a guy that had kind of long shot Heisman odds this year. He's extremely fast, a great runner as a quarterback. I thought he threw the ball pretty decently yesterday too, but I was sad to see Avery Johnson lose. I'm a fan of his.
Did you see Avery Johnson's father after the game? And then I heard Scotty and Dave talking about it. I just heard that his father was involved and saw the video. Somebody said that was his brother that his father was fighting with after the game in the streets in Ireland. So, I mean, I guess if you're going to be in Ireland, you might as well get in a bar fight, right?
Soccer hooligan while you're there.
With your own son, fighting your own son. I always have said that the G in Big 12 stands for Guinness. So you never know what's going to go on in the streets of Ireland. Yeah, exactly. Very odd.
So my attention yesterday in the sports world went to the Browns' final preseason game and then the Cincinnati Reds last night. We will talk about both of those here a little more in depth. The Reds later on in the show. We'll talk about the Browns here coming up in the next segment, and then we'll also talk a little more Browns at 12:30 with our good buddy Tyvis Powell, as he is part of the Browns radio network on the pre- and post-game coverage. But I'll tell you, the Browns, I've been a lifelong fan. They make it really hard to be a fan of them. You know, I feel like there's every group of friends has that one friend that somehow that friend just always makes it hard. He's your friend. He's in your group, but man, he always makes it hard to be his friend. It's like, dude, why do you keep doing this? And that's what I feel the Cleveland Browns are. Like, they make it so hard to be a fan of their football team, and there just always seems to be some kind of drama around the Cleveland Browns.
There's been a lot this year, man. There's been a lot.
It's so hard. And again, we're going to get into it a little more coming up, but it is tough being a Browns fan. The Bengals, they wrapped up their season yesterday. I think the Bengals, and we'll talk about them too, I think they might be the most fun team to watch this year, because I think every game the Cincinnati Bengals play in this year is going to be 37-34, 45-42, 41-37, because their offense, I think, is going to be dynamite. Their defense has more holes in it than a colander. I mean, it is ridiculous.
There are two things that are equally great to watch: greatness and a car crash. And you have greatness on the offense and a car crash on the defense.
You know, I'm really high on a Joe Burrow MVP this year. And because of that, I honestly think the Bengals could be a sneaky Super Bowl pick this year. Like, I don't know if that's crazy to say because there are so many questions about that defense, but for whatever reason in my mind, just the way that offense operated at such a high level last season, I think there's more in the tank somehow, some way. Like, I feel like Joe is that type of guy that he can just get you to that next level, get you over that hump. He's kind of been that way in his career, right? That he elevates the guys around him so much, and he obviously has a great cast to do that with. Jamar Chase is an awesome receiver. So is T. Higgins. But I feel like there's somehow more in the tank for those guys, and I feel like after going through what they went through last year, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, all of those guys don't want to allow that to happen again, and they're just going to will themselves to wins this year. So I'd put a long shot bet on the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. I definitely like them to get back into the playoffs, and I think Joe will, of course, be a big part of that.
If the defense can have a pulse this year, told teams under 24 a game, that offense is going to put up 28, 31 a game. So, yeah, it's not the worst idea in the world.
I mean, I really think that I'm high on them for whatever reason. Like, I know everybody is so scared about the defense, and rightly so, but the Bengals this year, I just feel like after what happened to them last year, that can't happen 2 years in a row. When you have an offense just so good that the defense is so bad that it somehow overcomes that elite offense, I think they're going to get some better breaks this year.
And I think the Bengals defense, maybe more importantly than being good or serviceable, I think what this Bengals defense needs to do is just come up with a play or two at the right time. Like, get an interception on a third or fourth down that really matters, or get to the quarterback on a big sack. Third down with a timely sack. It's kind of crazy as you say that. And I think I'm somebody who believes in Joe Burrow so much that I think as long as he's the quarterback of the Bengals, they're a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
And that might be a stretch with that defense, because you've got to be able to play a little bit of defense at least to win. But the Bengals right now, according to ESPN Bet, tied with the Commanders for the sixth best odds to win the Super Bowl. Now, you're still, if you think they can get there, it's a pretty good squeeze at 18-1. But I would have thought that the defense, with all the questions about the defense, they would have been a little lower in the odds, but that's not the case. So Vegas kind of agrees, and they like Joe Burrow too.
Yeah, I haven't heard much of the conversation, right? Like, are the Bengals a sexy pick to bounce back this year? If that has been conversation, I feel like maybe I've missed that, but I feel like a lot of people are talking about, hey, is this the year that the Bills get over the hump? Hey, is this the year that the Ravens get over the hump? Are the Chiefs going to bounce back after losing the way they did in the Super Bowl? So I feel like out of all those teams, maybe even in the AFC West in particular, people have talked about the Broncos taking another step, the Chargers being there this year. I feel like the Bengals have maybe fallen to kind of the back of that conversation. Don't forget about Joe Burrow. I feel like just because this team missed the playoffs the way they did last year, maybe people are discounting them, and because of all the drama about Hendrickson and the defense, et cetera. But I like Joe to lead him to a bounce back.
Real quick, just while we're looking at it, and I have it pulled up here, the Super Bowl odds, and again, this is according to ESPN Bet, you have a top 5 of the Ravens at plus 650, the Eagles at plus 650, the Bills at 7-1, the Chiefs plus 750, and the Lions 10-1. If I gave you those 5 teams or the field, what are you taking?
Give me each of those teams again, because I don't think the Lions will be there.
The Ravens, the Eagles, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Lions.
I'd probably take those teams over the field this year. I know that I talked about the Bengals, but when you're giving me all those teams against the field, I like somebody in there, whether it's the Ravens, the Bills, can't discount the Chiefs. Even the Eagles, it's hard to go back to back, but I just think those teams versus the field, that is obviously the cream of the crop in the NFL.
I don't believe in the Lions or the Bills. And
why not the Bills?
I think they're the definition of an insanity. You expect the same thing over and over and expect a different result. Every year they put up a million numbers and then they lose in the divisional round every single year.
Yeah. The Lions, I'm with you on the Lions. I think the Bills, maybe the Bills, but
they're going to lose at home in Buffalo to the Chiefs or the Bengals in that divisional round.
They should have lost before the divisional round, honestly, to the Ravens last year. If Mark Andrews can just hang on to that football. I think with the Lions, I believe in the roster.
Yes.
I believe in the head coach. Replacing 2 coordinators, though, is very hard to do.
It's extremely hard to do, and they've lost some pieces off of that roster, too, but, just those it's your D coordinator and your offensive coordinator, right? Like that is a lot to lose. And on top of that, they've lost so many assistants too, because Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn each brought a bunch of the assistants with them to the Bears and the Jets. So there's just a lot of juice in that building that I think has left. Of course, you've got Dan Campbell at the top, and you can't forget about him. But I think maybe the Lions take a little step back, but wouldn't be surprised after this year to see them back in the conversation. Just maybe let's gather ourselves here.
The Browns, undefeated in the preseason. That means they're going to the Super Bowl, right? Well, maybe not. We'll talk about the mess that is the Cleveland Browns next. It's Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $404 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Life's better with American Family Insurance, because we know in making the most of your home, DIY doesn't just stand for do it yourself. It also means dream it yourself. And we're here to help protect the dreams you're building. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I have a buddy who's going to be popping the question soon. He's planning everything out. He asked me, can you help me out with the ring? I said, of course I can. I've got a guy, Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Now you talk, Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace. I'm your guy.
Go in, see my friends at Worthington Jewelers, tell them I sent you, and you'll get the true VIP experience.
I'll treat them better than I treat you.
That's not hard. Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged. And tell them Common Man sent you.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
The summer event is still on at Germain Honda of Dublin, and the deals are hot. Lease the rugged 25 Honda Ridgeline Sport for just $339 a month, or finance with an unbeatable 0.99% APR. Or drive home in the new 25 Honda Prologue EX. Lease it now for only $149 a month or 0% APR plus no payments for 90 days. Get the deal you deserve at Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. See dealer for full details.
Attention Columbus foodies. Are you a smoker of mouth-watering chicken wings? Then bring the heat to the Grove City Smokin' Hot Wing and Music Fest, presented by American Nitro. First place wins $1,000, but more importantly, bragging rights. It's all going down Saturday, October 4th with wings, beer, music, and more. Sign up your team today at americannitro.com/wingfest. Don't wait. Spots are filling up smoking fast. Wingfest supports local causes like Southwest Career Academy, Ghosts of War, and Gigi's. Let's wing it for a great cause. Sign your team up today.
The Fan is the official station of summertime. Sipping on a lemonade, the smell of fresh cut grass in the air, and Common Man playing fart noises on the radio.
Was that a fart?
Summer. The Fan, Ohio's summer destination.
The roof for your home protects what matters most in your life. Your family, your memories, your peace of mind. So when it comes time to replace the roof over your head, you need a name you can trust. Newman Roofing. Don't just take our word for it. Here's our friend Cindy on why she chose Newman Roofing over all the rest.
We had interviewed and talked with several other roofing companies around the city. The salesperson that came to speak with us was extremely knowledgeable, answered questions, took his time with us. We were happy to make Newman our choice.
And you'll have peace of mind knowing that on the day of the installation, we'll give you and your home the respect it deserves.
The guys arrived right on time. The crew leader came and talked with us, let us know what they were going to be doing. He was here all day with the crew. That itself was very impressive.
If you're thinking about your roofing or siding, give Newman Roofing a call today.
We were very happy with our experience, and we would highly recommend Newman to anybody we talk to.
Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman Roof. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Aaron, I've been thinking.
You came up with a new invention?
No, I've been pondering a problem.
Is it anything I can help you with?
I'm not sure.
Tell me.
I've been thinking about our scuba diving plumbers.
Get Eco.
ECO.
They dive right in and fix the problem.
That's the problem.
You lost me.
The problem with being extremely good at something is that you make it look easy.
You're worried that people think plumbing is easy?
Well, our extremely very good plumbers sure make it look easy.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Don't worry, Jerry. Sooner or later, most people try to fix their own plumbing problem.
I can testify to that.
Jerry, did you try to fix it yourself?
Yeah.
Don't give it another thought, buddy. I'll send somebody over right now.
Get Eco.
ECO.
You're a real friend, Aaron.
Eco Scuba Diving Plumbers, Genius Electricians, and you can always trust our HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
By the afternoon, mostly sunny with highs near 80. Overnight staying clear, dipping into the mid-50s for a chilly start to Monday, which will be a cooler afternoon with highs only in the mid-70s and more sunshine. More sunshine again on Tuesday, but cooler with highs in the low 70s. I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce on 97.1 The Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
For the first time since 2017, the Cleveland Browns go undefeated in the preseason. Nate, Super Bowl, mark it down. No.
Sure, we'll get on that.
Maybe not. The Cleveland Browns, they do go 3-0 in the preseason. They beat the Rams, who I don't even know if anybody that the Rams played yesterday will be on the 53-man roster by the time the regular season comes around. But listen, it looked good for Dylan Gabriel yesterday. He came in after Joe Flacco, and Joe Flacco did Joe Flacco things, right? Just 9 of 10, 71 yards, throws a touchdown. Listen, he's going to be the starter, and that's fine. Like, if this Cleveland Browns roster is a 7-win roster, which I don't know if it is, I don't believe it is, Joe Flacco will get you those 7 wins. If they're a 6-win roster, he'll get you that. Even at 40 years old, the arm talent is always there for Joe Flacco. Dylan Gabriel came in, did some things, kept the offense on schedule, it looked like, got the ball out quickly. Then Shedeur came in, and he did not get the ball out quickly. He ended up getting sacked 5 times. Now, not all of that was on him, but you cannot do in the NFL what you did at Colorado and just run around back there 20, 30 yards, running around trying to find someone, get open downfield. You've got to get the ball out in the NFL. And it was a rough day for Shedeur. As good as he looked in his first outing, it was equally as bad yesterday.
Yeah, I do think that's got to be a little bit concerning for you. And I understand he's, playing with backups and things like that. But after his preseason debut, just think back a couple of weeks ago now, people were fired up. People were like, oh, this guy, he could be the backup for the Browns this season. We want to see this guy in NFL regular season action. And then I think you come back down to earth and realize that, okay, maybe he does have some deficiencies. Every rookie quarterback is going to have some deficiencies. But, the thing for me is there's just been so much conversation about Shedeur Sanders going back to when he was drafted in, what sort of opportunity is this guy going to get with the Cleveland Browns? To me, I feel like people are forgetting the basic fact that Dylan Gabriel was drafted ahead of Shedeur Sanders. Naturally, he is going to get more opportunity in training camp, and he's going to get the first reps because of that. The Browns view him as the better quarterback, right? Where you're drafted kind of determines that. So to me, it's not surprising in the way that I think a lot of people have been surprised, maybe complaining about, oh, why is Shedeur getting less reps than this guy? Or why is he taking a backseat to this guy? The way that I've heard Dylan Gabriel talked about is that the Browns are very high on him in terms of his floor, at least being a long-term backup in the NFL. And I think what we've seen in the preseason, again, it's the preseason, supports that. He looks like a guy that you said can keep the offense on schedule. That's what you're looking for out of a backup. Now it's up to the Browns to figure out, can he be more than that? Does he have more than that? I understand he's a smaller guy. That's not a typical thing for a quarterback in the NFL, but we have seen it work before, right? Drew Brees is a smaller guy. Kyler Murray is a smaller guy that's been successful at times in the NFL, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, I'm with you. Like, I think I almost called him Joe Burrow. Joe Flacco is a fine quarterback, right? Like, he can win you a couple of games. He throws a great spiral. He throws a good ball. And he is going to turn the football over. Like, that's a given. Like, he's going to throw interceptions, right? Because he likes to take his chances. At what point, though, do the Browns maybe pull that trigger and say, okay, it's time to see what we have with these rookies? Because you have to see, right? You have to see at some point what you have in these lottery tickets to determine whether or not you're going to take a quarterback in next year's draft, potentially even high in next year's draft. So that's the thing for me. It's like, it's settled right now that, like, Dylan Gabriel takes precedent over Shedeur Sanders. Are you going to see them both start games this season? Maybe. But when is the point that you're going to see Dylan Gabriel get that shot to be the guy for the Cleveland Browns? I think he's at least earned that opportunity.
I think one thing from Kevin Stefanski is, and listen, they went away from Baker Mayfield. One, because they didn't feel Baker could get them to a Super Bowl. I think that's one of the reasons. And the other was Kevin Stefanski wants a guy that's going to drop back, put his foot in the ground, and throw to where he's supposed to. Kevin Stefanski's a guy that draws up a play and says it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. If they do what they're supposed to, this play should work. Baker, we know, is very good at ad-libbing.
Yes.
And that's one thing we know about Shedeur is he's had to ad-lib a lot. His offensive line at Colorado wasn't great. He had to use his athleticism, and there's no doubt about Shedeur and his athleticism and his arm talent. The dude is just a natural thrower of the football. But there's a lot more to the NFL than that, and there's also a lot more that your head coach wants. Your head coach wants you to go back, make the read, fire the ball, and get it to where the play is designed to go. Kevin Stefanski is not a fan of someone back there ad-libbing in the pocket and making things happen on their own. These are things that Shedeur has to learn, and these are things why Shedeur slipped in the draft, right? The whole league said that this guy was basically a backup quarterback. Now, there are issues with that, none to Shedeur's making, that you cannot have your backup quarterbacks in this league be a story. I think it's going to be very hard for Shedeur Sanders to be a backup in the NFL because he's always going to be the story. And that's no fault of his own. That's because of the lineage he comes from and his father and all of that. You also saw yesterday, and this is bad, I don't understand this, unless Shedeur Sanders was hurt, which it does not seem like he was, what do you need to see Snoop Huntley run a 2-minute drill for? Like, if anything else, even if you told him his day was over, if Shedeur was hurt, I'm throwing Dylan Gabriel back in there to give him another look in a 2-minute drill. I do not need to see Snoop Huntley running a 2-minute drill at the end of the game. That is just baffling to me, whatever happened. And Shedeur didn't like it either, it looked like. And there was a little bit of conflict. And if you have that, that's even going to further that, hey, this guy can't be a backup type thing.
Well, yeah, that is the weird thing for me is that they've given Tyler Huntley these reps, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you're trying to develop young talent on your team. You know, they've talked about keeping 4 quarterbacks, which, again, that's not something that is typical in the National Football League, keeping 4 quarterbacks on a roster, but they're in a scenario, in a situation that I think they probably should, right? You don't want to get rid of one of these rookies
And we've seen a lot of quarterback movement today in the league a little bit. Tanner McKee is going to be out. Sam Howell gets traded to the Philadelphia Eagles from the Vikings. The Vikings signed Carson Wentz, so maybe there could be something there.
Yeah, there potentially could be, but that's a whole other conversation, talking about Kenny Pickett and what the Browns thought he would be and how the injury has affected him throughout training camp and his standing as, the starter, the backup, whatever it is. But for me, I do disagree with you. Like, I think Shedeur Sanders can be a backup in the NFL. He is a big storyline right now, but that conversation is going to go away at some point. If there is noise from, his dad, if there's noise from him as time goes on saying that, he hasn't been given a fair opportunity, et cetera, that, of course, could become a story. But I could see Shedeur Sanders being a backup quarterback in the NFL, a guy that's a fine thrower of the football. He just needs more experience, right? Needs more time to learn the speed of the game, et cetera, all this different stuff at this level. So I'll disagree with you on that. I think he can be a backup in the league, but I just don't know what the Browns' plan is right now to have 2 rookie quarterbacks on the roster. Who's going to be the backup? You, of course, have Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco in this conversation right now, too. It's hard, right? Like, you've got to find these guys reps one way or another. Like, is Dylan Gabriel going to start off being the backup? Is he going to be a 3rd-string quarterback? Are both of them going to be on the practice squad? Like, how is that all going to work, So you got to find reps for these guys somehow, because you'd be doing a disservice to the organization if you weren't at least developing the quarterbacks to figure out what you've got.
And giving key quality reps to a guy who is not one of the 4 you're going to have on your roster, and giving him a 2-minute drill just makes no sense. We'll see if our friend Tyvis Powell from T-Bone and Tyvis in the Browns pre- and post-game show on the radio network, we'll see if he has any answers for us coming up in 2 minutes. It's the Fan.
Keep your summer fun going at Toyota's National Sales Event. Now through September 2nd, get a stylish new 25 Corolla with 4.99 APR financing or 5.99 on Corolla Hybrid. Excludes Corolla Cross and GR Corolla. Or lease a gas-powered Corolla LE for $199 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
For a limited time, you can enjoy a savory sausage McMuffin with egg meal, including golden hash browns and a small hot coffee for just $5. Price and participation may vary.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hugs from patients like Patrick. It's something QC Kinetics medical professionals experience every day.
I hugged them. You should hug somebody who does that for you. They gave me my life back, and I really didn't know where I was going to go because I was definitely afraid of having a knee replacement done.
No surgery, no downtime with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. They give patients relief from joint pain using their own healing properties to repair and restore damaged tissue. And the results? Well, that's why we see a lot of hugs at QC Kinetics.
Everything is back that I thought I was never going to be able to do again. I'm still smiling, and sometimes it gets emotional. I get a tear in my eye because of how I was before I went in there.
Those smiles and hugs never get old at QC Kinetics. It means patients are finally getting relief. And now it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation and see if you're a good candidate for these amazing treatments.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets Hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Talking a little Browns, the undefeated preseason champion Browns. And let's head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline to continue the conversation. He's our very own Tyvis Powell, co-host of T-Bone and Tyvis, here 6 to 9 on the Fan. He's also the pre- and post-game host on the Cleveland Browns radio network. Now, Tyvis, you are always such a positive guy. I am usually negative when it comes to my teams, but I'm going to start off, since you're here, on a positive note with you. Who in the world is Aiden Huntington, and where did he come from?
Hey, that's an undrafted guy that bounced around in college and has made an impact on these Cleveland Browns. He's a guy that, it started with Nathan Zagura had pointed him out like a couple weeks ago. And I was like, who is he talking about? Who is this dude he talking about? Well, yesterday he was on full display. I mean, he was the guy that had back-to-back sacks. Everybody on that D-line loves him, and it was such a joy to hear, Coach Stefanski come out and say that he's going to make this roster. Me being in a position where I was like that once before, I understand the feeling that he's going through. So I was happy to see it. Hopefully this is a guy that gets some snaps during the season and can make an impact because that D-line is stacked.
Tyvis, we can't talk about the Browns without mentioning what's going on with the quarterbacks, potentially keeping 4 of them going into the regular season. What's the word right now on Dylan Gabriel and the way that he's progressed throughout training camp in the preseason?
Well, Dylan Gabriel has done everything that they've asked him to do. Obviously, the hamstring thing held him back a little bit, but in the 2 games that he's had action, he's looked the part. And I know against the Eagles, he had the 2 turnovers, the interception, and then the bobbled the handoff. But outside of that, when he gets the ball, it's clear that he understands the playbook. It's clear that he can identify coverages, and he's going to the right place with the ball. What I like about Dylan Gabriel the most is that he doesn't hold on to the ball for a long time. I think I seen that he averaged like 2.42 seconds or something like that with the ball in his hand. So he's understanding what the defense is doing and getting the ball to his guys in a timely manner. I think that it still stands with him being 3rd on the depth chart. Mary Kay had put out yesterday that the Browns are expected to keep 4 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster. And I know some people are upset about that, but I can understand why they want to do something like that.
Tyvis, I know that Stefanski loves that about Gabriel, is that he doesn't hold the ball for a long time. He stands back there, he makes his read, and he gets it out. I don't know if it's because they're both left-handed or not, but I've always kind of felt like, why couldn't Dylan Gabriel be at least Tua Tagovailoa? I think they're very similar. Tua's a little bit taller, but I think both of them have similar things to their game. I know it's really hard for a guy that's 5'10" to make it as a quarterback in the NFL, but why couldn't Dylan be Tua?
No, he could be. I think absolutely he could be. Him being short, it comes up in certain areas. In the red zone, they say that's like where the height thing plays a part. And obviously he was able to score yesterday, but he did settle for a field goal in his first trip down there. And the thing that I've noticed about him, it showed up yesterday. They sent a blitz. They sent like a blitz on the outside, and he couldn't get the ball. He sailed the ball to the outside to out of bounds. I can't remember who he was trying to get it to, but if he was 6 foot or 6'1", he probably could have threw that ball right over the guy and threw a dime. But the fact that he was short, he got to put air on the ball. And Dylan Gabriel, what scares me about him the most is that when he misses throws, he air mails them. And in the league, as a DB, they say tips and overthrows, you got to get those. So if he's going to airmail some stuff, some of those things could lead to interceptions.
All right, Tyvis, I want you to get a little bit speculative here, but I want to hear what you think. In my opinion, the Browns, they've got to see what they have in these rookie quarterbacks at some point during the regular season. Kenny Pickett in this conversation kind of muddies things up because maybe the Browns want to see what he's got too. How do you see this all shaking out in terms of who is going to play games this season and when we might see them?
Well, I think that the reason that they want to keep 4 is because there's no secret that the Browns' beginning of their schedule is a juggernaut. It's tough. And I think it's a tough ask to put rookies in there. Let's just play devil's advocate and let's say Joe Flacco goes out against Cincinnati and he gets hurt. Now your rookie quarterback has to start next week against Baltimore. We've seen that song and dance before. His name is DTR. He started his first game against Baltimore, and it was an absolute disaster. And I think what happened is this coaching staff has learned from their previous mistakes. They say, listen, we don't want to put a guy in the fire that's not ready to go because it could mess up their confidence. So I think that's why you're keeping Kenny Pickett around to get through that part of the schedule. Once you make it through that part of the schedule, I don't understand the need for Kenny Pickett anymore. I do think that at that point, once you get to about 8, 9 games, it's about time for you to start looking at these guys. And right now, as it's slotted, Dylan Gabriel will probably be the first guy to go in there. And if he's doing well, there's no need to even see Shedeur. But selfishly, I still want to see Shedeur. But if Dylan Gabriel goes in there and just is on fire, then you wouldn't take him out for Shedeur. You just would say that that's the guy.
Speaking with our very own Tyvis Powell on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, you just mentioned him, Shedeur. His first NFL experience in the preseason went very well. People were like, maybe the Browns got something here. Yesterday, not so much. Maybe some of the things that caused him to slip to a 5th-round pick. There's no doubt, Tyvis, that athletically and arm talent-wise, Shedeur can hang in the league. But we saw some of it yesterday, right, with hanging on to the ball too long. What are some things that we need to see Shedeur work on here moving forward to become a successful NFL quarterback?
I think he got to relax. I think what happened yesterday, because in the first game, we didn't see that too much. I thought he did a really good job of handling the pre-snap stuff and getting the ball out in a timely manner. Yes, there were a couple of plays that broke down and he was scrambled around and made something happen. But for the most part, I thought he did a really decent job of playing remotely on time. Not saying it was perfect, but I thought he played on time for the most part. I think what happened yesterday was he watched Dylan Gabriel go out there and have an unbelievable chance at quarterback. He led 2 scoring drives, and I think for him, the competitor in him came out, and he thought, I need to make a splash play. I need to do something. And I think that's what led to him having that game where he just kind of didn't want to take the little stuff. He just wanted to make that big-time throw, and it caused him to hold on to the ball. I think that if he wants to be better moving forward, he got to just understand that what you did and the things that worked in college, it won't work in the NFL. And that's something that a guy like Caleb Williams struggled with last year, who's the first pick in the draft. You have so much success in college by being able to do these things. But what you got to realize is everybody in this league is elite. There is no talent gaps, I should say. And he's got to work on being in the system, playing in the system, playing on time, because that's just what Kevin is. Kevin loves quarterbacks that play on time. That's why Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham fell out, because Odell wasn't running the routes on time. But then you see a guy like Amari Cooper coming there and run the routes exactly where he's supposed to be when the ball's supposed to be out, and he had a ton of success. So this team is taught to play on time, and that's what Shedeur has to learn how to do, is learn how to play on time.
Tyvis, the last thing from me. We've talked plenty about the quarterbacks, but is there anybody else on this Browns offense that we are not talking about that we should be?
I think Harold Fanning is going to have an unbelievable year this year. I was talking to a guy. They said that Harold Fanning is the second best catcher on this team, receivers included. So I think we're going to see a heavy dose of him. I think the reason we didn't see him in the preseason is they didn't want the world to know that he was going to be that good. But I think he's going to be a big-time weapon for the Browns this year. It's forcing teams to play base by going into 12 personnel, and I think he's going to absolutely take advantage of that.
Two guys that looked good in the receiver room, Gage Lavardian and Caden Davis. Isaiah Bond gets signed this week. What does that signing do to the receiver room, Tyvis? And then what are the Browns going to do at running back?
Man, I think that receiver room got a shake-up. I mean, you got like 5 guys, I believe, that's a lock. I think you got Judy, Tillman, Thrash, Bond, and I'm going to say Carter is as well as a return person. And then that last spot, I think I thought it would be Deontay Johnson, but I really could see them going with Gage. The good news is I think if they cut any of them, they can get them all back on practice squad. And that's the most important thing, when you're cutting down to the 53-man roster. It's if we decide to release this guy, are we comfortable with not getting them back? Because that's the risk that you run. And if I feel like a guy like Deontay Johnson, you kind of know that he's not going to get another opportunity because he's openly said that the Browns was the only ones that gave him a phone call. So I think you could sneak a guy like that back on practice squad. Gage, if he continues if he did well on special teams, and I think he serves a purpose on special teams, so I think that he does make this roster. As far as the running back position goes, they got to figure out the Quinshon situation, and I think the league has to come out and say, if they're going to suspend him or not, because that kind of dictates a lot, And I think if he is a part of it, then I think you don't need a guy like Amani Marshall. But if he isn't a part of it, I think you need that big back like Amani Marshall. But at the same time, you got to pay attention to the waiver wire. You got to see who gets released, because there's going to be guys that get released that you absolutely can bring in to be that short yardage goal line back.
Tyvis, you're the best, buddy. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you in about 18 hours in here at the studio.
See you later. Go Bucks, go Browns.
Our very own Tyvis Powell, co-host of T-Bone and Tyvis, 6 to 9 weekdays right here on The Fan. Also part of the Browns radio network coverage, their pre- and post-game shows as well. The Bengals, they wrapped up the preseason yesterday. It wasn't pretty against the Colts, but they didn't play anybody. We'll talk about them coming up next. Fan Sports Sunday. Ryan Baker, Dylan Tyrer, Nate Puterball on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Tailgate season is here, and if your grill makes you have to duck when you light it, it's time for an upgrade. Billiards Plus carries top-of-the-line grills that you can pass down to your kids and gifts the whole family will enjoy. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Earn 2% cash back on purchases and pay 0% APR on balance transfers for 15 months with a new Kemba Financial Credit Union Visa. That's more rewards and less interest. Apply at Kemba.org. For purchases and balance transfers made in the first 90 days, restrictions apply. APR equals annual percentage rate. Variable and subject to change. Equal opportunity lender expires 10/31/25.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
The roof of your home protects what matters most in your life. Your family, your memories, your peace of mind. So when it comes time to replace the roof over your head, you need a name you can trust. Newman Roofing. Don't just take our word for it. Here's our friend Cindy on why she chose Newman Roofing over all the rest.
We had interviewed and talked with several other roofing companies around the city. The salesperson that came to speak with us was extremely knowledgeable, answered questions, took his time with us. We were happy to make Newman our choice.
And you'll have peace of mind knowing that on the day of the installation, we'll give you and your home the respect it deserves.
The guys arrived right on time. The crew leader came and talked with us, let us know what they were going to be doing. He was here all day with the crew. That itself was very impressive.
If you're thinking about your roofing or siding, give Newman Roofing a call today.
We were very happy with our experience, and we would highly recommend Newman to anybody we talk to.
Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
The season may be winding down, but there's still time to make the most of Buckeye Lake. At Buckeye Lake Marina, we have year-end deals on boats, accessories, and more to get you ready for next year's adventures. The Buckeye Lake Marina staff is there to help you find the perfect boat at unbeatable prices. Buckeye Lake Marina has a long list of satisfied customers, and you want to be the next. Don't wait. Sail into savings at Buckeye Lake Marina before the year ends and find the boat that's just right for you. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for more.
Morning Juice is live on YouTube. Weekday mornings starting at 6. Or on demand whenever you want it. Yeah, whenever. Bobby Carpenter's at your beck and call. And Tito's there too, to clean the toilets. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
We could tell you what makes Giant Eagle special, but we think our customers say it best.
I love the fresh produce. I love the fresh meat.
I'm pretty sure the fish guy knows me by now. We're buds.
I love to grill. That alone keeps me coming back.
The people that work here are so nice and so helpful.
Everybody loves the cakes from Giant Eagle.
On every shelf, in every department, we're always going for better because being your Giant Eagle matters.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
On Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app. New customers opt in and get a free lottery ticket. Download the app and start ordering lottery tickets today. Use code VOCAL. That's code VOCAL on Jackpocket. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 or older. Jackpocket is a lottery courier and not affiliated with the Ohio Lottery. Opt in for $5 in non-withdrawable lottery credits that expire in 168 hours. Terms at jkpt.co/draw5.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Brad's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where batteries are as low as $89.99. Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Brad is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Save big during Labor Day at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, buy more to get up to an additional 20% off. Shop even more savings with 3 Stay Green 1 cubic foot vegetable and flower garden soil bags for $10. This Labor Day, take care of your home for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/3. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Want to know anything about the fans' contests, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
We're going to talk about the Buckeyes a lot coming up in the next hour, but we just turned the TVs on in here and we put on this replay of this modern-day St. Thomas Aquinas high school game that was on ESPN yesterday, and Chris Henry Jr., future Buckeye, in this game, and just some of the catches he made in this game are just unreal, and it's like, man, that wide receiver train at Ohio State just continues to roll, and he looks like he's going to be a star when he gets here and puts on the scarlet and gray.
Yeah, I was just telling you that, I've done a lot of reading about Chris Henry Jr., and I've heard a lot of different things about how good he is. And then on social media yesterday, I saw some of the highlights of this game and some of the catches he made. and I was like, oh my God, this guy is going to be the next great Ohio State wide receiver. I know everybody was saying it, but seeing it is a little bit different. Like, he made this one catch, like kind of a no look, just stuck his arms out behind him on a deep ball and made the catch. Like, I can't even describe what it looked like. It was just absolutely unbelievable. And you think about, the size and the speed and obviously the pedigree with his dad and what he did in the NFL. You've got to be very, very excited about it. So many great Ohio State wide receivers, which, I want to talk about later on. We've got a top 5 list that we'll tease. But Chris Henry Jr. looks like if this guy's healthy, he could be the next big thing.
The only way I can kind of describe it is when an outfielder in baseball gets a line drive hit right at him and they start running one way and then they realize the ball is curving and they try to turn around the other way. And we know how awkward that usually looks. Well, that's kind of what he did. He was running, but he didn't even break stride and just kind of turned one way and made the catch and just made it look so easy.
Yeah, but it was bizarre. And then, I think he made a diving touchdown catch and all this different stuff. And I mean, it's not like this was a light matchup. He's on Mater Dei and they're playing St. Thomas Aquinas. It's 1 versus 6. And, obviously Ohio State has recruited at St. Thomas Aquinas before. Yeah. So you've seen a lot of great talent there. So this guy, he is being challenged, I suppose, as best as you can in high school football, and he's dominating that competition, which is awesome.
Making it look easy. We know the Cincinnati Bengals, they've got a couple pretty good wide receivers.
Yes, they do.
And Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They wrap up the regular season yesterday. They get hammered by the Colts. The Colts, though, or the Bengals, neither team's really playing anybody in that game yesterday. The Bengals not playing any of their starters. 41-14 was the final in that one. I'm not really sure why Desmond Ridder, had a great year at Cincinnati, played great for the Bearcats. I'm not really sure why he's in the NFL anymore. I don't think we need to see any more Desmond Ridder. Obviously, he's just there filling some spots as Jake Browning. We know the backup to Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow's going nowhere. This Bengals team is fascinating to me, and I think they're going to be one of the most fun teams to watch in the league this year because we know as equally good as their offense is, their defense is that bad.
We talked about it off the top of the show, right? That we have collectively, I think, a lot of faith in the Bengals offense this season. And, between you and I don't know where Nate stands on it in terms of the Bengals playoff prospects or maybe even, AFC Championship, Super Bowl prospects. You and I were higher on that, I think. But this is a team that is so intriguing to me because you have maybe the best group of elite weapons offensively in the NFL. 2 elite wide receivers, a tremendous quarterback. Chase Brown, I think, really showed last season that he can be a solid to very good running back in this league. It's just all about that defense, right? Of course, they have to protect Joe Burrow too, which there have been questions there, but this defense this season, there are just so many unknowns, and I don't know if you can bank on them improving, right? Because it's not like they went out and got anybody to improve the defense, and obviously they've had some well-documented contract disputes this offseason too, ongoing with Trey Hendrickson, but you just can't discount the Cincinnati Bengals because the offense is so good. It's one of the craziest situations in the NFL right now in that I don't know if anybody really has a higher powered offense, but the other side of the ball, there's so many question marks. Like last year, for example, the Commanders were great offensively. Jaden Daniels was a stud as a rookie. Their defense was horrible. But they went deep into the playoffs because that offense was so good. Why couldn't the Bengals do something similar?
And I think the Bengals, part of that is, as good as their offense was down the stretch, it kind of got off to a slow start. And I think some of that was Joe Burrow's wrist injury, and then also just the question marks with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in contracts, more so Jamar Chase last year going into the season. I like what the Bengals did this year in the fact that they let Joe Burrow and the starters play quite a bit in those first 2 games. And I know Joe wanted to play in this 3rd game. They held him out. Look, injuries happen, like in practice even. Rashawn Slater out for the year with a practice injury for the Los Angeles Chargers. The Atlanta Falcons lost a lineman this week for possibly the year in a practice injury. So it's football. Injuries happen, right? And I know you don't want to take unnecessary risks, but you've got to get your guys ready for the football season. I like that they let their guys play, and I think maybe that will help them at the start of the season because they've notoriously had slow starts under Zach Taylor. And listen, you can't make the playoffs in week one, but you can miss the playoffs in week one. And I think the Bengals kind of feel that last year with that loss to the New England Patriots in week one. When they look back on last year, I think they feel that game really hurt them. And if they would have won that, and a game they probably should have won, they would be in the postseason. 18-1, we talked about it. That's their odds to win the Super Bowl. Do I think the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl? No, I don't. But as long as they have Joe Burrow, I think they're a team that could be in the mix. I think that's good value on what you said, having them as a sneaky Super Bowl pick. I just have all the faith in the world in Joe Burrow. And after watching quarterback, I think I have less faith in Zach Taylor. I feel like Joe Burrow's more the head coach of that team than Zach Taylor is. But I think Joe Burrow, I think Patrick Mahomes is the best on the planet. I think Joe Burrow's number 2. And as long as they have him, and he's the only one to beat Mahomes in the playoffs in the AFC side, I think as long as they have Burrow, they're in the mix.
I'm with you. And we saw the hole that they got themselves into at the beginning of last season, right? I think all of these teams in the NFL probably bank on really hitting their stride and being the team they want to be as the season goes on, a month into the season or maybe 5 to 6 weeks into the season. That's when you really want to be rolling. For me, I just thought so many teams came out and looked bad at the start of last year, and the quarterback play was shaky. So I'm with you. Like, I like what Joe Burrow has done here and trying to change things up, saying, hey, let's get more reps during the preseason. I think some more teams have done that this year. Caleb Williams has played a decent amount in the preseason this year because, they've undergone a coaching change. It's a big year for Williams. People want to see him take another step. Well, how do you do that? How do you get going early? It's play some games, get reps in the preseason. So I'm with you. Like, you've got to be smart about staying healthy and everything, but the Bengals, the way that Nate talked about the Bills and maybe it being, insanity, the way that they just do everything over and over every year, the Bengals have at least tried to change something up in the preseason this year, and Joe Burrow's led that charge. So we'll see if it works out early in the season, but I like it. I don't think it can hurt him. Nate, what do you got back there?
So as the long-suffering Bengals fan in the room, you brought up how Washington's offense was great last year, but their defense was terrible. The difference is they have Dan Quinn as their head coach. The Bengals have Zach Taylor, who is as Ryan just mentioned, Joe Burrow is the real head coach. Even when they made the run last year, it was mostly just Joe Burrow making things happen while running away from that terrible offensive line. I have no faith in Zach Taylor to navigate these waters.
And I mean, it's a good point. And listen, I don't watch them every week like a Bengals fan, but after watching quarterback, I do understand the frustration a little more, I think. And listen, I think they tried to improve their offensive line, and I think that will be better this year. So hopefully Burrow keep his jersey a little more clean and have more time to get that ball to those playmakers.
For continuity's sake, too, like there's got to be something said about an offensive line, sticking together and just having the same guy, of course, trying to get new players to improve the offensive line if you have a weak link there. But an offensive line that's together for a while, I think will always be better. And, I think in any sport, the more continuity you can have, the better it's going to be. So that's kind of why I have that faith in the Bengals offense this year. It's, of course, just comes down to, like you said, Zach Taylor leading the way and that defense maybe making an incremental improvement.
And you mentioned that continuity. That's one of the reasons I like what they did, getting those game reps in the preseason. Yesterday was our last Saturday without Buckeye football. The excitement is building here in Columbus. We'll tell you some of the things with this Buckeye football team we're excited for coming up next. It's Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
Here's 3 reasons to buy your Blue Jackets ticket plans for the 25-26 season. 1, pick your seat and pick your games. 2, plans start at just 11 games. 3, flexible payment plans. Act now. Visit BlueJackets.com/tickets.
Sometimes a girl in my class doesn't bring anything to eat for lunch.
The truth is, in America, 1 in 5 kids worry about their next meal.
I want everybody to have yummy food.
So do we. That's why Kroger donates surplus fresh food from our shelves to your local food bank. We've provided over 3.5 billion meals through our Zero Hunger, Zero Waste plan. Visit Kroger.com to see how you can help fight hunger and waste in our community.
Because nobody should have an empty tummy.
On Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app. New customers opt in and get a free lottery ticket. Download the app and start ordering lottery tickets today. Use code VOCAL. That's code VOCAL on Jackpocket. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 or older. Jackpocket is a lottery courier and not affiliated with the Ohio Lottery. Opt in for $5 in non-withdrawable lottery credits that expire in 168 hours. Terms at jkpt.co/draw5.
And we're back talking all things connectivity with Spectrum customers Kev and Melissa. So tell us, how long have you been with Spectrum and how important is a reliable internet connection?
We've been Spectrum customers since we moved 12 years ago. The first thing we did is sign up for Spectrum Internet.
You get a lease, you get it Wi-Fi.
Yes,
immediately.
We need that. We had Spectrum Wi-Fi before our couch got here.
That's true. That's a true story.
I'll sleep on the floor, but I won't go to bed with no internet.
You heard it here. Switch to Spectrum now.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain, and it's the Toyota National Sales Event all month long at Toyota West. With over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles available, Toyota West at I-270 and Georgesville Road has the car you're looking for. And right now at Toyota West, take advantage of no payments for 90 days, and every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 72-hour exchange policy plus a 3-month warranty for qualified vehicles. Come see us at the Germain Auto Mall on Georgesville Road or get started today at ToyotaWest.com. No payments for 90 days, deferred payment, interest accrued at time of inception with approved credit, expires 8/31.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
Got one of those days that never stops? Try a stop at Speedway and refresh the vibe with 69-cent large big gulp drinks. Get 69-cent large big gulp drinks at Speedway with Speedy Rewards. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 8/26/25. See app for full terms.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Nate Hooterball. College football is back. In the first top 25 matchup of the season, number 22 Iowa State knocked off number 17 Kansas State 24-21 in Dublin yesterday. It's just 6 days until OSU Texas. The Browns ended the preseason undefeated, beating the Rams 19-17. Joe Flacco was 9-10 for 71 yards and a TD, while Dylan Gabriel went 12 of 19 for 129 yards and added a touchdown. Shador Sanders struggled, going just 3 for 6 for 14 yards. The Bengals ended the preseason losing to the Rams 41-14. None of the starters saw significant playing time. And in baseball last night, the Guardians got blown out by the Rangers 10-0. They'll try to salvage the series today at 2:35, hoping to snap their 4-game skid. The Reds didn't fare any better, getting smashed by the Diamondbacks 10-1. They'll finish their series today at 4:10. Catch the action on The Fan. Breaking sports news, what happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
6 days away from, depending on what poll you look at, number 1 versus 3 or number 1 versus 2 in the shoe next week. Dylan, I'm pretty excited because I'm going to be in there.
Yeah, I'm fired up. It's going to be sweet.
Going to be inside the shoe for Ohio State, Texas to start the season. Pretty pumped about that. And listen, this Ohio State football season, just looking at it is so interesting to me because talent-wise, we know Ohio State is going to be one of the most talented teams in the country. They always are. It's going to be the intangibles and the little things, right? Like you're replacing 8 starters on defense. Now, we have a lot of faith in those guys that are coming in to replace those guys, but still, 8 starters is a lot. You've got a quarterback who's going to be starting for the first time in college football. Julian Sayin had, 23 attempts all of last year, passing attempts. It's going to be interesting to see. You have a whole new backfield with the quarterback and the running back. There are so many unknowns about this season. Throw in 2 coordinators as well. But there's so much reason for optimism. There's a reason that they and Texas are the co-favorites to win the national championship.
It is pretty wild, right? Because, we've seen Ohio State in kind of rebuilding years, in quotes, before. But the expectations are so high this season. And on top of that, you've got potentially the best 2 players in college football. Caleb Downs, people are calling the best defensive player, maybe the best overall player in college football. And then you've got the best weapon in college football in Jeremiah Smith at wide receiver. Outside of that, there are so many unknowns on this roster, including the coordinators that you talked about. It's just such a unique place for Ohio State to be. It's going to be a new running back situation, a new deal at quarterback, changes on the offensive line. There is some continuity at wide receiver. There's a new tight end. Lots of changes there. Defensively, you've got Sonny Styles back. You've got Davis Negmanosin back. You've got Caleb Downs back. Lots of changes on the defensive line. Some of those other kind of complementary pieces at linebacker and in the secondary are all going to be new. So to me, it's a little bit unprecedented in a way that Ohio State is the defending national champion. They have these extremely proven commodities on both offense and defense that kind of are dragging the whole team along with them in terms of the expectations for Ohio State this year. But without those guys, it's kind of an interesting exercise to think about where Ohio State would be in the preseason rankings and, where people's hopes would be for them this season without Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith on the roster, right? How would people think about Ohio State without those guys? And we haven't even talked about the quarterback a whole lot in Julian Sayin, that there has been this maybe debate or uncertainty around Julian Sayin because there was a quarterback competition and it wasn't just hey, this is the guy, it's going to be his job. I think underneath it all, people assumed that it would be Julian Sayin's job when it came down to it. And of course, now it is. But don't forget, this guy is extremely talented, a former 5-star recruit, transferring in from just a week spent at Alabama. Mm-hmm. I'm expecting this guy. The way people have talked about him is that this could be the next great Ohio State quarterback, maybe one of the very best. So for me, that's where the excitement lies. Is I'm excited to see this kind of next roster for Ohio State, to see who the new stars are going to be and how quickly they can get up to speed to see whether or not this team is a legit national championship contender again.
The next couple of segments here, we're going to talk about the players, certain players that we, all 3 of us, are excited to see this year. But I wanted to ask a couple of things that you're excited for this team this year. Team-wise, a couple of things you're going to be looking at, and maybe some things that we expect to see in the Texas game. I think one thing I'm super excited to pay attention to this year is this wide receiver group. We know at the top, you've got Jeremiah Smith, and he's the best player in college football. Carnell Tate, we saw flashes of him. Can he be that next first-round pick for Ohio State in the wide receiver room? Will he step up and be the number 2 that we think he's going to be? Brandon Ennis was named a captain and has never started a game here at Ohio State. I don't think that's happened very often in the history of Ohio State football, where a guy hasn't even started a game and just is a leader on this team. And then Mylan Graham and Quincy Porter, the 2 talented freshmen. I'm excited to see this group of receivers. I know Dom Taberi said he thinks this receiver room may be more talented than last year, and that's crazy because you've taken Emeka Egbuka out of it, but he could be right.
Yeah, for me, it's a couple of different things. I'm going to talk about the trenches as a whole. You know, you've got some new pieces on this Ohio State offensive line, guys that we did get to see at different points last season, but for some of them, their first full season as starters, it's a new offensive line, and it's going to have to gel very, very quickly. I want to see how the offensive line comes together against Texas because, hey, if there are holes in that offensive line, it could be a long day for Julian Sayin and the Ohio State running backs. I'll keep it on offense here and say I'm also curious to see what the running back situation looks like with James Peoples and C.J. Donaldson. Donaldson, of course, transferring in from West Virginia. He's a big bruising back. James Peoples, I think, flashed at times for Ohio State last season, and you could really see that, oh, this might be the next good running back for Ohio State. So for me, I think Ohio State is really going to have to rely on running the ball in the game against Texas, and that's why I started with the offensive line. That'll ease some of the pressure on Julian Sayin to not have to be the guy, the hero right away. And going back to the trenches, particularly in this Texas game, it's a new defensive line for Ohio State, and they're going to have a big game. Think about all the guys that got drafted off of that Texas O-line this past year. Changes up front for them, too. So that should be a real war of attrition down in those trenches for Ohio State on both sides of the ball throughout the game against Texas. So that's something that I will be watching. I think whoever can win the trenches will end up winning the football game.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm most excited to see how the defensive line goes, especially if you're going into week one against a completely brand new offensive line for Texas. I think this team goes as far as this defensive line goes this year. So if all of them can come in and it is as good as they think it's going to be, if it's even better than last year's, where they still ended up, 52 sacks last year. And it seemed like we were asking all season, are JTT and Jackson are finally going to live up to the hype?
JTT 12 and a half somehow.
Right. Yeah. Somehow ended up there. If they can end up on there, I think the sky is the limit for this defense.
Another thing I'm super excited to see with this team, and I think maybe especially early on, this might be an issue with them replacing two coordinators. I'm really excited to see what Matt Patricia does with this defense because I don't think anybody will disagree that Jim Knowles is probably the best defensive coordinator in the game in college football. But I do think Jim Knowles had a style, right? He's like, this is the defense that works. Let's plug players into positions and let's make it work. And I think you did have to see Ohio State as the year went on last year adjust a little bit because maybe the players that Ohio State had didn't totally fit that. I think Matt Patricia, coming from an NFL background, I love the fact that he's planning on being multiple with the defense. And they're going to move people around, and you've got the pieces to be able to do that, where you can drop a Sonny Styles back in coverage while blitzing a Caleb Downs, and just all the rotational pieces they have. A C.J. Hicks, who is an edge rusher but has played linebacker before, could maybe drop back and do some things. I think it's going to be fun to see Matt Patricia with all of these pieces on defense being able to move them around the chessboard and really make things difficult for offenses.
I am with you on that. And I know we've got to hit a break here coming up, but we do have a pretty good question, I think, in the chat that we can answer. Mm-hmm. Kevin asks, do you think Brian Hartline actually calls plays in the opener against Texas, or does Ryan Day handle this one and ease Brian Hartline into play calling following the Texas game? Hartline's the play caller, so he's going to be calling the plays, right? Like, I think, overall, Ryan Day is going to have his fingerprints all over this offense, and there's going to be collaboration going into the game, but you can't do that, right? You can't clip the offensive coordinator's wings and say, hey, buddy, I'm going to call the plays because this is a big game, and then you're going to be able to do it after that. It's going to be Brian Hartline's offense to call, right? And then you're going to evaluate throughout the season. There are times that if it's going bad, you're going to change who the play caller is, and I think Ryan Day can always fall back on that because he's a pretty darn good play caller himself, but you're not going to do that to your offensive coordinator. This is the team, right?
It is interesting, though, because I do think there was just such a comfortability with Ryan and Chip last year, and Ryan just trusted Chip so much. Maybe Ryan does focus a little more on offense this year than he did last year, and maybe that will affect things. Who knows? It seemed to work pretty well with Ryan kind of being the CEO last year and just letting Chip handle. I don't know. It's an interesting facet, and we only got 6 days to wait and see all of it coming up. Players. There's this roster, and we talked about some of the guys now. It is loaded with playmakers. Who are the 5 guys we're excited to see most? I made a list. Dylan made a list. Nate made a list. We'll get into that coming up next. Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
You may play the Ohio Lottery, but how well do you know the odds? True or false? When more people play Powerball or Mega Millions, the odds of winning a jackpot are worse. It's false. The odds for draw games don't change. The game design sets the odds, so your odds stay the same no matter who plays or how big the jackpot is. The only thing that is worse is the number of coworkers expecting free lunch if you win. I mean, how many tacos can one man buy every Tuesday? Learn more about common lottery myths at ohiolottery.com/knowtheodds. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hi, welcome to IKEA. Hi, I'm in a whirlwind of college prep. Gotcha. We've got affordable solutions to create the perfect college living space. Great. And visit our website to see how verified college students with an IKEA family account can receive a one-time use 15% off coupon.
Nice. You guys think of everything.
Pretty much. Offer ends 9/30/25. Valid ID required. Discount applied proportionally across items purchased as shown on receipt. See IKEA-USA.com/ready-for-college for complete terms.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. American Family Insurance can help protect your dream home for whatever comes next. You can live in your own oasis or your own clubhouse. Whatever you choose, get the right coverage. Save up to 23% by bundling home and auto. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and a multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I could not imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
Do you feel that? The season is getting closer. Buckeye football comes your way in 6 days. Every game, every season. Proud to be your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey friends, Beamer here. Summer's winding down, but you know what? There's still time to drop 20 with Awaken 180's 20-pound summer slim down. That's how I got started, 20 gone fast, and it propelled me straight to my goal of dropping over 75 pounds. You'll still eat, drink, enjoy summer, but the scale's finally moving. Then you finally hit fall with some energy, confidence, and clothes that actually fit again. Awaken 180's coaches, they keep you on track so the weight stays off. You can go to awaken180weightloss.com to start your first 20 now and finish summer on a win streak.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $404 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
When it comes time to replace the roof over your head, you need a name you can trust. Newman Roofing. Don't just take our word for it. Here's our friend Cindy.
We were very happy with our experience, and we would highly recommend Newman to anybody we talk to.
Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Got one of those days that never stops? Try a stop at Speedway and refresh the vibe with 69-cent large Big Gulp drinks. Get 69-cent large Big Gulp drinks at Speedway with Speedy Rewards. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 8/26/25. See app for full terms.
Imagine what it would feel like getting tackled head-on by a 240-pound linebacker. You'd be in serious pain, right? But if you're unbuckled in a car crash, at just 50 miles an hour, you become a deadly projectile that can slam into other passengers with 8 times that amount of force. Don't let someone else take the hit. Buckle up and visit buckleup.ohio.gov to learn more. Brought to you by ODOT and ODPS.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
By the afternoon, we'll be mostly sunny with highs near 80. Overnight, mostly clear and cool with temperatures in the mid-50s. Monday afternoon brings us more sunshine with highs in the mid-70s. And on Tuesday, even cooler but mostly sunny still with highs in the low 70s. I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce on 97.1 The Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. Your go-to destination for Buckeye football talk all year round. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Yes, it is. And this is the last Fan Sports Sunday where we won't have a game to talk about. The Buckeyes in Texas next Saturday at the Shoe. Big noon. Maybe that doesn't sound as cool as 7:30 at night, but we do get big noon next week, and it seems like the weather's going to be great. By the way, shout out to the Ohio weather this week because I feel like this has just been perfect. I know some people are like, no, in August it's supposed to be 85, it's supposed to be 90. These past couple of days and this week coming up, this is my kind of weather here.
No, I'm into it. It's perfect for going out and playing golf. It's not too hot.
Yes.
And it's just like a nice little taste of, okay, it's almost fall weather. It's a nice tease for football season because, man, oh, man, when I used to cover Ohio State football, you'd be out there and it would be just sweltering the first month of the season, like 80 to 100 degrees out in the Shoe. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the cement in the Shoe, but that place can just get so hot. The turf field radiating back at you. So it's been very welcome. And you're right. The weather all of next weekend is just perfect.
And it was just something about going out Friday night as it was the first night of high school football. I guess Thursday night, technically there were a few games, but Friday night, the first full night of high school football. And just having a little bit of a chill in the air there at nighttime, like it just feels right? Like that fall weather, hearing the bands, that's just nothing's more football than that. This Ohio State roster, we've talked about it a lot. It is extremely loaded with talent this year, although some of that talent we just haven't seen on a college field producing much. I thought it was pretty cool. Just something fun to do, a little top 5 list of guys that we're excited for. I put one together. Dylan, you've got one. Nate, you've got one. And I'm going to start at number 5. I like doing these counting down to number 1. And I'm going to full transparency here, and I know this is crazy. He's the best player in college football. I do not have Jeremiah Smith on my list because we're going to enjoy the greatness of Jeremiah Smith, but I feel like we know what we've got. Like, Jeremiah Smith is in store this year for 1,500 yards, double-digit touchdowns, probably a trip to New York in the Heisman ceremony type thing. He's that good. So maybe I should be excited about that because it's watching the best player in college football. But I know what we're going to get with him.
Yeah.
So maybe I contradict myself a little bit here. My number 5, though, is Caleb Downs. And I know it's crazy because he's the second best player in college football. But it's the Matt Patricia thing that I talked about. I think it's going to be so fun watching Caleb Downs and seeing all of his talents this year. Seeing him up there playing a nickel corner. Seeing him in the box blitzing a quarterback, rushing the backfield, seeing him kind of play like a linebacker spot. I think having Matt Patricia as the defensive coordinator is just going to unlock all of Caleb Downs' talents. And we've heard all offseason oh, he's like a coach back there. He gets everybody lined up. We can disguise some formations because Caleb knows where everybody's supposed to be and can tell them what they're doing, even though they may not be in the normal place to do it. I think it's going to be so fun watching him be the quarterback of the defense this year and seeing how Matt Patricia really uses him as a Swiss Army knife type of player.
Are we going to go around the room with our number fives?
Go around.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So I'll go with my number 5. And I'm going with Sonny Styles, like another guy that's a proven commodity defensively. But Sonny Styles is a complete athletic freak. And the way that you've talked about Matt Patricia utilizing Caleb Downs, I'm curious to see how Sonny Styles gets utilized this year. And I think he could just be a real difference maker on the Ohio State defense. He was obviously tremendous last year, but this year, will he be like a real playmaker, a guy that every week the other offense, the guys across from Sonny Styles are worrying about, like, this guy could be a game wrecker defensively for Ohio State just with the athletic freak he is, the size, the speed, all of that. So I'm curious to see what the year holds for a player like Sonny Styles.
And he's going to be a leader on that defense this year. I think it's unquestioned that him and Caleb are the leaders on that defense. How's he going to handle stepping up and filling that role that maybe Cody Simon had last year? And we know he's wearing that block O as well, speaking of Cody Simon.
So most of my list are guys that are the unknowns. My number 5 is Kenyatta Jackson.
Okay.
I said earlier, I think this team goes as far as this defensive line goes. There were questions who was going to step up. Kenyatta Jackson was always the first guy off the bench anytime it was time to rotate last year. He's stepping into a starting role. If he can develop this year and be a game wrecker like I think he can be, this team could go very far.
That's a great pick. And on that defensive line, again, guys that we've seen a little bit of Kenyatta Jackson the past couple of years, right? Him and Caden Curry getting in there, but it's their turn to be the guy.
Yep.
I'm going to stay in the defensive secondary, and I love this secondary, by the way. I'm so excited for the back seven of this Ohio State defense this year. I know that this guy is just a freshman, but we had a freshman last year that wore number 4 that was pretty good. I think there's another one this year in Devin Sanchez. I think that Devin Sanchez is going to make it impossible for Tim Walton and Matt Guerreri and Matt Patricia to keep him off the field. He was the best cornerback in this freshman class coming in this year in the nation. I think he's a guy that they are going to be creative with and get him on the field. I know Davison Igbinosun and Jermaine Matthews are 2 studs out there at cornerback, but maybe we see Jermaine Matthews kick inside to that nickel corner some to get Devin Sanchez on the field. I think this guy is a freak, and he is going to force the defensive coach's hands to get him on the field.
I considered Sanchez on my list, too, just because I think he will be utilized by Ohio State this season. He's too good of a player not to be used at points this season. But I went with a different cornerback at number 4 and a guy whose name you just brought up. Davison Igbinosun, for me, is a guy that I'm very interested to watch this year because it's a big season for him, right? Like, people think he could potentially be a first or second round cornerback. It's a large prove-it year because of that. Obviously, the penalties are very well documented with Davison Igbinosun. He, for whatever reason, just loves grabbing hold of wide receivers. I get that. He's a physical corner. You know, he wants to lock down guys that way. But he's got to stop that if he wants to be a high pick in the NFL draft. So that's a reason for me. Like, is this the year Davison Igbinosun shows that maturity, grows up a little bit, and really steps up to be a shutdown corner for OSU that we haven't seen in a couple of years?
I heard him talking, I believe it was with Nicole Sheeran of 10 TV earlier this week. And she was asking him something about what he needs to do this year. He's like, turn my head around and see the ball. So he knows it's something to work on.
My number 4 is cheating because it's 2 people, but I don't think you can talk about one without the other. It's Brandon Inniss and Carnell Tate. Are you 2 ready to step up and be the stars we think you can be? You know, we've seen a little bit of Carnell Tate, but, you know, you're now the number 2 guy. You're the guy that's probably going to get a lot of focus because Jeremiah Smith is going to be double covered. Brandon Inniss, you're a captain, but we haven't really seen you on the field. Are you guys going to step up and be the next great Ohio State wide receivers?
Brandon Inniss was a guy that I just didn't have room for on my list, but if there was a 5B, it probably would have been Brandon Inniss. I think it's interesting that he is a captain on this team and has never started a game. That tells me that this guy has had
everyone respects him.
Yes, and a huge offseason. And speaking of Nicole Sheeran, she has said all offseason that Brandon Inniss is a guy that is going to break out for the Buckeyes. Who are numbers 1, 2, and 3 for us? We will get to that in 2 minutes. Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
Coffee, iced cap, refreshers. Tim Hortons has all your favorite beverages. And now you can get your favorite bite for less. When you buy any size beverage, add a baked daily donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. So next time you order your favorite Tim's beverage, add something that satisfies your cravings and your wallet. The $1, $2, $3 menu. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra exclusions and terms apply.
Get Eco.
Aaron? Yeah, Jerry? Do you know what I like best about our plumbers? Tell me. No matter how difficult, no matter how messy, no matter what it takes, they just dive right in and fix it.
Get Eco.
They dive right in. Yes, they dive right in. We've got scuba diving plumbers.
Get Eco.
You know they don't literally dive in, right? Well, of course not. Not yet, anyway. The pipes are too small.
Get Eco.
They won't be able to literally dive in until I finish inventing my Eco miniaturizing ray. But until then, our plumbers will just keep on figuratively diving right in. Yes, that would be best. Jerry, do you know what I like best about our plumbers? Tell me. They're so good at their job, they make it look easy.
Get Eco. Get Eco.
Scuba diving plumbers, genius electricians, and better than average HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip.
And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. It's sports conversation, but with a drink and umbrella as a garnish. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Glad to have you along for this Fan Sports Sunday. Ryan Baker, Dylan Tyrer, and Nate Pooterball here with you until 3 o'clock. Later on today at 3:40, coverage of the Cincinnati Reds and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hasn't been great for the Reds here as they've lost 3 in a row, but still have not been swept all year. They need to get the W today to make sure it stays that way. 4:10 first pitch out in Arizona for that one. We got through numbers 4 and 5 on our top 5 Buckeyes. We're excited to watch this year. We'll pick it back up here at number 3. And this is one, if you would have told me a month ago that I would have this guy on my list, I would have said you're crazy. But he's the starting left tackle now, and that's Austin Sareveld. And this was a guy who got some playing time last year due to injuries, bounced around at both guard spots. Then we heard this offseason he was practicing at tackle a little bit. Then we heard, well, he's getting some reps at left tackle. And then it was, oh, he's an Iron Buckeye and he is our starting left tackle and he's kind of become the leader of this offensive line. That's an awful big jump here for Sareveld, who is a redshirt sophomore. And I'm excited to see what he does. Like when you start to hear whispers in camp about certain guys, sometimes you need to take notice, and Austin Sareveld seems to be a guy that says, hey, listen, not only am I going to be the leader of this offensive line group and a starter, I'm going to be the starting left tackle for you.
My number 3 might be a little bit of a surprise. It's another wide receiver in Mylan Graham, and I'm just excited to see what Mylan Graham does this year and how Ohio State uses him, because doesn't it feel like every year you get a little peek or a little taste of that next great Ohio State wide receiver, going back years, whether it's a guy like Jackson Smith and Jigba, Emeka Egbuka, Marvin Harrison. I feel like you always get that little taste of, they've got something coming. So will it be Mylan Graham for Ohio State this year? Everything I've heard about the guy is that he is going to be an absolute stud. Do we get to see that start to blossom in 2025? So that's somewhere where my interest lies this season.
My number 3 is Max Clare. Obviously, Julian is going to be starting for the first time ever, and we think he's going to be great. Obviously, Jeremiah is going to be great, but he's going to be double covered. What's the best thing for a young quarterback with top guys being covered? A great safety valve down the middle, especially when you have a Mackey Award nominee, a guy who's third team All Big Ten, a guy who's second team All American preseason nominee. I can't wait to see what he does early on in this season.
I love that you went there, Nate, with Max Clare, because he's my number 2. When he decided that he was coming to Ohio State from Purdue, I was like, really? Because Ohio State had a hard time guarding that guy when they played Purdue. He is a stud. And if he can have numbers on par with what he did last season, it's going to be an all-time season for an Ohio State tight end, because the all-time Ohio State, this is for just a single season, the all-time record is Billy Anders back in 1966. He had 55 receptions in 671 yards. Max Clare last year at Purdue had 51 receptions in 685 yards. So it's going to be hard because there's a lot more mouths to feed here at Ohio State. But if Max Clare can keep on the track that he was with Purdue last year, it'll be the best receiving season we've ever seen from a tight end here at Ohio State. Another thing, and listen, Jeremiah Smith is the ultimate cheat code for a young quarterback, but usually one of the best things for a young quarterback is having a tight end that he can use as his safety valve. And as talented as this tight end room is this year for Ohio State, I think that's huge for Julian Sayin. But Max Clare's different. I don't think Ohio State maybe has ever had a tight end like this dude. And when you hear guys like Jake Butt talking about him, a guy who played the position at a high level, and saying, yeah, this guy, he's a difference maker on this Buckeyes team, that opens my eyes a little bit, and I take notice. I can't wait to see Max Clare as a Buckeye.
I agree with you on that. I'm very curious to see how Max Clare gets utilized this year. I'm also excited to see what running back James Peoples looks like. He is my number 2 on Buckeyes I'm excited to watch this year. Peoples flashed last year, right? 49 carries, 197 on the ground, scored a couple of touchdowns. Is he truly a dynamic piece to this Ohio State offense? C.J. Donaldson, we talked about, is a big bruiser coming in from West Virginia. James Peoples, 5'10", 206 pounds, kind of that mold that we've seen in the past in Ohio State running back size-wise, the J.K. Dobbins of the world, et cetera, et cetera. Travion Henderson right around that same size, too. I think Ohio State needs that, right? They need a dynamic presence in the backfield. If you're going to have the bruiser and C.J. Donaldson, maybe he's even more than that, and I'm discounting Donaldson a little bit. But I think Peoples should be a big part of the Ohio State offense this season. I just want to see how big of a part, because, again, it's a young quarterback without a lot of experience. If Ohio State can do a lot on the ground and be successful that way, it eases some of that pressure, especially early on in the season, especially in this game against Texas. So I think Peoples could be a big cog for Ohio State this year.
Our friend Tim May has been leading the James Peoples bandwagon since before he even stepped foot on Ohio State's campus as a freshman. And yeah, James Peoples, you mentioned the word. He flashed. I love the nickname too, Sonic and Knuckles, with him and Donaldson.
My number 2 is Arvell Reese. We've had a really nice resurgence in the linebackers the last couple of years after a few years of not even knowing who the linebackers really were. We saw a bit of him last year. When a guy as good as James Laurinaitis is saying he is a freak, I want to see violence in the middle of that field from Arvell Reese this year.
Yeah, he's a guy that's got a ton of talent for sure. That Glenville pipeline strong at Ohio State. And looking for big things as he takes over that Mike linebacker position. My number one, I'm going back to the defensive secondary, and it's Jermaine Matthews. I remember watching this kid win a state championship with Cincinnati Winton Woods, and I fell in love with the way he played. Kind of reminded me, and I don't want to say he's exactly like this, but kind of reminded me of an Antoine Winfield, who was so good here at Ohio State as a cornerback. Maybe a guy that's a little smaller, but not afraid to put his nose in there and come up and hit you. He's just got an attitude about him. I love the attitude, the swagger that Ohio State has with these cornerbacks, with Davis Enigmenoson and Jermaine Matthews and a guy like Aaron Scott, who and Devin Sanchez too, who these guys just have a lot of swagger to them, a lot of attitude. And I think Jermaine Matthews may be the piece to really unlocking this defense this year, because I think you could see him move inside to that nickel cornerback, and I think he could be an All-American outside at cornerback, but you could see him slide into that nickel cornerback a couple weeks into the season, and that allows you to get Devin Sanchez on the field on the outside as well at cornerback, and that could change everything for this Ohio State defense. I love the attitude. I love the way he plays. I love the fearlessness, and I'm excited to see Jermaine Matthews as a starter for these Buckeyes.
My number one, and I'm stunned nobody has said anything about him yet, is the quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes, Julian Sayin. I mean, this team is going to go as Julian Sayin goes, right? That's just how it goes in the game of football. You got to have a quarterback that's going to be a difference maker and have an impact. And I think Julian Sayin obviously could be that for Ohio State. How good is this guy? What is the ceiling? Is the sky the limit for Julian Sayin with all the weapons he's got this year? How quick is it going to come together for Julian Sayin this year? Are we going to see another quarterback for Ohio State this year? So my number one guy is Julian Sayin. I think it goes without saying.
I thought about putting Austin Saraveld here, but ultimately, if you're a lineman, I should never want to see you or notice you.
Don't want to hear about the lineman.
But so my number one is Caleb Downs. We already know how great he is, but I am very excited to see what Matt Patricia is going to line up for Caleb Downs, a guy who can play anywhere on the field, do anything on the field. Is it going to be like Troy Polamalu, where they're like, you already know what to do, just sniff out where the play is going to go? I am extremely excited to see what they have lined up for Caleb Downs.
And you know what, Dylan, you were right talking about none of us, you're the only one that had QB1 on your list. And we know in football nowadays that quarterback is usually the most important position on the football field. I just think it goes to show like how many talented guys are on this roster and how many things we want to see. And we honestly, all of us didn't overlap too much with the guys that we were looking for. So everybody can have a different thing. And it's just going to be fun. You know, there's a lot of unknowns with this Ohio State football team this year, but there is definitely a ton of talent. The Big Ten, they got a big win before the games even started. We will tell you how coming up next. It's Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Looking for a bottle of the best blended whiskey in America? Well, look no further than High Bank Distillery Co. Their Whiskey War Barrel Proof won this prestigious title at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. That's the most prestigious spirits competition in the world. From their classic Whiskey War to Double Oak to my personal favorite, the Cigar Cask, there is something for everyone. Find a bottle near you and learn more at highbankdistillery.com. Drink the best, forget the rest.
Tailgate season is here, and if your grill makes you have to duck when you light it, it's time for an upgrade. Billiards Plus carries top-of-the-line grills that you can pass down to your kids and gifts the whole family will enjoy. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with a thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks, trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Matty Ice here from McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. I recently brought a brand new Chevy Trax from McDaniel GM Superstore. It was by far the best car purchase I have ever made. And right now, you can get a 2025 Trax at McDaniel GM Superstore for as low as $20,995. They will treat you like family, just like they treated me like family. They're just a short drive north off Route 23 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Hey Central Ohio, it's Andrew from Home Team Solutions, and yes, we buy houses for cash the easy way. We've been buying houses for over 20 years and we've seen it all. Whether you've inherited a property, you're behind on payments, the house needs work, or just want to avoid the hassle of listing, we've got you covered. No repairs, no clean out, no stress, just a fair cash offer and you pick the closing date. We've helped hundreds of homeowners sell fast and hassle-free, and we're proud to have 5-star reviews all across Central Ohio and an A+ rating with the BBB. If you're ready to sell your house the easy way, call Home Team Solutions at 614-962-SELL. That's 614-962-7355, or visit us online at selltohometeam.com. Home Team Solutions, local, trusted, and family-owned. Again, that's 614-962-SELL. 614-962-7355 or selltohometeam.com.
Discover uncompromising quality at a reliable price with Giant Eagle in Market District. Look for signs throughout the store highlighting lower prices. Surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle. Experience value like never before. Visit Giant Eagle today to see how easy it is to save.
Join the Fan weeknights at 6 for the Buckeye Show. And if you're asking if it's just a bunch of homers rooting for all things Ohio State, yes it is. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Colin Mann here for Universal Windows Direct. Are your leaky windows costing you money? Yes, they are. Right now, when you call my guys at Universal Windows Direct, you get payments as low as $99 a month or 12 months with no payments and no interest. Seriously, upgrade your home now and relax until next year. Call now and get a free in-home window and energy assessment. Choose the payment plan that's right for you. 614-502-5220 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Burnt out, foggy, running on caffeine and willpower? It's time for a reset. Hydrate Me Med Spa brings next-level wellness to Central Ohio with medical-grade IV drips, NAD+ for brain and energy support, and ozone therapy to detox at the cellular level. This isn't just self-care, it's a system upgrade. Feel sharper, sleep deeper, perform better. Now open in Dublin, Grandview, New Albany, and Granville. Book your drip at hydratememedspa.com.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
Now at Great Lakes Hyundai of Dublin, lease 2 Elantras for $200. That's right, lease 2 new 2025 Elantra SEs for just $200 a month for 24 months. Both your new Elantras come with complimentary Hyundai maintenance with free oil changes and tire rotations for your entire lease. GLakesHyundaiofDublin.com with approved credit, $39.99 down per unit plus taxes, fees, first month payment, 10K miles per year. In time too.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Are you still in your pajamas? We are. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
So the Big Ten, we know that they have been pushing for an automatic qualifier type model, and they said that they did not believe a 5+11 model in the college football playoff could work unless everybody was playing the same amount of conference games. And we know that we've talked about, or the Big Ten has talked about, maybe games like Ryan Day said, maybe a game like Ohio State, Texas would go away if the rest of the conferences weren't going to play 9 conference games. Well, the SEC They have acquiesced. They said that they will play the same number of conference games as the Big Ten moving forward. They are going to adopt a 9-game conference schedule starting in 2026. I don't think this is a surprise, coming on the heels of the college football playoff saying we're going to put strength of schedule a little more into our model moving forward.
I love it. Like, I think it goes without saying that there should be some continuity across college football if all of these teams are going to end up competing in the same playoff in the end, right? If you want to make the college football playoff, I think there's got to be an equal playing field. And, I know there's the argument people have, is the SEC better than the Big Ten, et cetera, but this strength of schedule argument, I think, kind of quashes that, right? Now you've got a little bit... the strength of schedule is weighted more in determining who makes the college football playoff, the rankings, et cetera. So I like the equal playing field of having the 9-game conference schedule. I think it makes all the sense in the world, and I'm glad we've gotten to this point because I think common sense kind of prevails here.
This was the SEC on their Twitter saying they will continue with a single standings, non-divisional structure. Each school will play 3 annual opponents focused on maintaining many traditional rivalries. Each team's remaining 6 games will rotate among the remaining conference schools, and each team will face every other SEC program at least once every 2 years, and every opponent home and away in 4 years. With the jump to 9 conference games, the SEC is keeping its requirement for all schools to play a non-conference game against a Power 4 opponent, so we like that. In recent years, most SEC teams had played each of their other 3 non-conference games against non-Power 4 opponents, in some cases FCS schools, but now SEC teams will play a maximum of only 2 non-Power 4 opponents per year. Listen, when we had the expanded playoffs, we thought we were going to get more games, like Ohio State, Texas, like Alabama, Florida State. But we've seen all of these conferences after last season threatening to not do that anymore. We saw Indiana drop a game with Virginia, which Indiana, you need as many points as you can on your schedule here. You need as many bonus points to get in. It just makes no sense. But we talked about Ross Bjork and Ryan Day saying, listen, games like Ohio State, Texas, and we know Ohio State has Georgia and Alabama on the schedule here in the next few years. These games would go away, and that would be the worst thing in the world for college football. We need these games. Look how much we're excited for an Ohio State opener every year, but if that game next Saturday was Grambling, we wouldn't be nearly as excited and be talking about it as much as it is with Texas. So these games are good for the sport. I think college football needs these games. You need these huge matchups. You need them to say, hey, like we talk about all the time, we're in the North, they're in the South. Our schools in the North are better than yours. You need these for college football.
Absolutely. And, the requirement in the SEC to play a Power 4 game is fantastic. I love that, right? It keeps some of these good games alive, and it incentivizes it, obviously. And, the strength of schedule thing that the college football playoff is now doing, that incentivizes it even more. So I think college football is in a pretty good spot. Like, they've, of course, got to determine how the college football playoff is going to look going forward. Will there be automatic bids for conferences? How many teams are going to be in the college football playoff? How do you determine which teams are going to make the college football playoff? But I think this is a good step, a necessary step to get us there and keep college football in a good spot, an entertaining spot, a competitive spot, because that was a major concern for everyone, right? Was what's going to happen to some of these rivalry games? What's going to happen to some of these electric non-conference games that we see early in the season? I mean, look at week 1 this year. Like, I can't remember a week 1 like this in quite some time. I'm like you said, I'm always excited for the OSU opener. I'm always excited for week 1 of college football. Heck, I'm always excited for week 0 of college football. But this year, there are some big-time matchups that I am very, very eager to see. Like, I'm just as excited to watch Clemson LSU as I am Ohio State Texas. You know what I'm saying here? We're going to see what some of these teams have early on in the season. Who are the real contenders in college football? So keeping it in this spot going forward is healthy for the sport. I think it's just good all the way around, right? There's been so much conversation about, money is the driver behind college football. And of course it is, but I think this keeps some of the fun in it too.
I think the best thing the SEC has in this rules that they're putting in place is the 3 protected games per team.
Yeah.
I think the Big Ten should adopt that model. So, like, instead of just OSU, Michigan, what are the other 2 OSU games you want protected? They should be played every year, no matter what.
Well, and we know, like, the Big Ten had something in that where, like,
they have
who are
like
your rivalry
25.
games?
Like, Penn State doesn't have any.
Yeah, and Penn State said, no, we're good. We don't need to play Ohio State every year. Or Michigan, they're unrivaled, yeah. Maybe we'll see the Big Ten do that. Be like, hey, they're doing this. We need to do this, too. It will be interesting. Talking about the college football playoff, and it says it's going to use an enhanced, and it has that in quotation marks, tool to further emphasize strength of schedule and its selection process. This will be starting this year. The new metric, it's going to be titled Record Strength, will give further credit to how a team performs against its schedule. It will give extra credit for beating quality teams, lessening the penalty for losses against tougher opponents. On the flip side, it will give less credit for beating lesser teams. Additionally, the existing strength of schedule metric has been adjusted to further err towards playing higher level foes. And I like that. We want teams to play teams right. I also don't want to get away from, we still got to win our games. Like, a loss should still be a loss. Some losses are different. I get it. Just like some wins are different. I don't want to take emphasis off of winning games, though, but you still can't schedule App State all the time, or maybe that's unfair to App State, but you can't keep scheduling lesser schools or FCS schools and getting credit for that all the time. I do think there is something for winning games. I'm going to go back to this, and I'll die on this hill. Now that we have this expanded playoff, let's go back to a BCS formula so we let the computers and the polls spit out who the best is. Then we don't have to have committees or human error in all of this. We can truly have the best teams playing in the playoff.
I'm with you, because I think that makes it the best of both worlds, is get us back to the BCS, but with the playoff, because then that eliminates a lot of the question marks, right? Back in the BCS days, it was just, all right, we're churning out 1 versus 2, and they're going to play for the national championship. Now some of that debate gets settled because you've got the playoff, and I think we're moving towards that, and I'm happy to see that with this new refined strength of schedule rating, in that we are kind of getting closer to what you're talking about. We're going to get some kind of definitive computer style rankings, and then once we get there, we're going to duke it out playoff style. I think that's the best way to go about it in college football, just because there are so many teams. Work it out, strength of schedule wise, with the computers, and then let's see these teams face off. I think that eliminates some of the debate and gets us to a point where, again, it's not fully common sense. It's never going to be perfect, right? But I think this gets you to a point where everybody can be happy for the most part. I think it just makes sense.
And I think, as you mentioned, there's so many variables, too, in college football.
Just so many teams.
With different teams and conferences having different amounts of teams in those conferences. I think if you go to that computer-style system, maybe you can take some of those variables out. What in the hell is going on with the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons? Whatever it is, it sure doesn't seem good. We will discuss that coming up next. It's Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Aaron, I've been thinking.
You came up with a new invention?
No, I've been pondering a problem.
Is it anything I can help you with?
I'm not sure. Tell me. I've been thinking about our scuba diving plumbers.
Get Eco.
ECO. They dive right in and fix the problem. That's the problem. You lost me. The problem with being extremely good at something is that you make it look easy. You're worried that people think plumbing is easy? Well, our extremely very good plumbers sure make it look easy.
Get Eco.
ECO. Don't worry, Jerry. Sooner or later, most people try to fix their own plumbing problem. I can testify to that. Jerry, did you try to fix it yourself? Yeah. Don't give it another thought, buddy. I'll send somebody over right now.
Get Eco.
ECO. You're a real friend, Aaron. Eco scuba diving plumbers, genius electricians, and you can always trust our HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Brad's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where batteries are as low as $89.99. Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Brad is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Save big during Labor Day at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, buy more to get up to an additional 20% off. Shop even more savings with 3 Stay Green 1 cubic foot vegetable and flower garden soil bags for $10. This Labor Day, take care of your home for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/3. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
On Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app. New customers opt in and get a free lottery ticket. Download the app and start ordering lottery tickets today. Use code VOCAL. That's code VOCAL on Jackpocket. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 or older. Jackpocket is a lottery courier and not affiliated with the Ohio Lottery. Opt in for $5 in non-withdrawable lottery credits that expire in 168 hours. Terms at jkpt.co/draw5.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Nate Hooterball. College football is back. In the first top 25 matchup of the season, number 22 Iowa State knocked off number 17 Kansas State 24-21 in Dublin yesterday. It's just 6 days until OSU Texas. The Browns ended the preseason undefeated, beating the Rams 19-17. Joe Flacco was 9-10 for 71 yards and a TD, while Dylan Gabriel went 12 of 19 for 129 yards and added a touchdown. Shedeur Sanders struggled, going just 3 for 6 for 14 yards. The Bengals ended the preseason losing to the Rams 41-14. None of the starters saw significant playing time. And in baseball last night, the Guardians got blown out by the Rangers 10-0. They'll try to salvage the series today at 2:35, hoping to snap their 4-game skid. The Reds didn't fare any better, getting smashed by the Diamondbacks 10-1. They'll finish their series today at 4:10. Catch the action on The Fan. Breaking sports news when happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
You're listening to The Fan. It's Sunday. We're a sports station, and we shall call it Fan Sports Sunday.
So we talked earlier about the Cleveland Browns and how it always seems like there's drama surrounding the Cleveland Browns. And a lot of times it's not good drama. Well, there's always drama surrounding the Dallas Cowboys as well. We've heard Jerry Jones say multiple times that the Cowboys they're a soap opera. They're always a soap opera, and people are talking about them. And it's not always bad drama, I guess, in Jerry world, but this Micah Parsons stuff sure seems like bad drama. Yesterday, in their final preseason game, he's the only player, even though he's supposed to be in uniform, not in uniform. He's wearing like a tracksuit, it looks like. And he's back on a training table in the third quarter, just kind of laying down. Brian Schottenheimer said that he's going to have a meeting with Micah today to discuss the behavior. And it just doesn't seem good. And this was Adam Schefter on his podcast earlier this week, before any of this stuff happened yesterday during the preseason game with the Falcons, talking about the situation with Dallas and Micah Parsons.
You can't get a deal done if you're not even talking. And the two sides haven't had
any negotiations since late March or early April. And it sounds like at this point it's personal. It sounds like each side is dug in. The Cowboys have come out and said what they said publicly at the start of training camp, which Micah didn't like. Micah came out and asked to be traded, said he was ready to move on from Dallas, which I'm sure they didn't like. And right now, both sides seem to be angry. Now, have other people put those feelings aside in the past and figured out a way to work out a deal? Yeah. I don't see that happening here. I see these two sides headed towards a divorce in time. The only question is, when is that divorce going to happen, and how is it going to happen? Are they going to trade him now? Are they going to trade him after this year? Are they going to move on when? But it certainly doesn't feel like these two sides want to enter a long-term relationship together. That's the way it feels today, and we'll see if they do anything to change that before the regular season begins in a couple of weeks.
I think that was pretty interesting from Adam Schefter, and he didn't say that Micah Parsons wouldn't be a Dallas Cowboy this year, but he did say maybe not so much in the long term.
Yeah, so we talked to Schefter a couple of weeks ago, right when this was starting to become more of a thing. And I think at that point there was a little bit more faith, or it sounded like he thought there would be a little bit more faith in terms of getting something done. And that tune has changed these last couple of weeks, maybe in the last week and a half, where it sounds like this is more serious. And, you know, to me, it feels like the classic Jerry Jones likes the Cowboys being in the news because of this. He likes being talked about, and, you know, maybe he tries to get something done in this next week. But while that's happening, I feel like Micah Parsons is like, I don't want to play this game. I don't want to be part of this. I'm serious. I want the money, and I want some security here. I want some certainty on what's going to be happening to me. Where am I going to be in the future? This is the type of guy that I just feel like you can't meddle with, right? He is a generational pass rusher. He's one of the best, if not the best, in the NFL when he's healthy. I think all 31 teams in the league would come calling, right? If this guy were available for trade, the asking price has got to be high. But, I mean, what are you doing if you're the Cowboys? This is a player that you drafted high and need to lock up. You can't play games with him. And that's what it is. Like, I just don't think Jerry Jones takes it that seriously at this point, because he always seems to get it done with different guys, right? It always comes down to, oh, this guy is wanting a trade or he's holding out, but does it ever become official? Does he ever officially ask for a trade? I think now we're at that point with Micah Parsons that he is officially upset, and he's showing that he's upset. And a conversation with the head coach of the team, I don't think does a whole lot here. It's got to be a conversation between Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones, or Micah Parsons' representation and Jerry Jones saying, all right, enough with the games. Let's get something done here. Otherwise, my guy's upset, and you got to get him out of here. It's kind of unprecedented in a way that it's not like this is Trey Hendrickson, right? Who's over 30 years old. This is a young guy in the NFL just entering his prime, and he's proven to be one of the best at his position. He needs the money.
Just looking at some of the numbers with Micah Parsons, 4 years in the league already, the numbers have been pretty consistent. His first year in the league, higher on the tackle total with 84, but 13 sacks. The next year, 65 tackles, 13 and a half sacks. 64 tackles his third year, 14 sacks. And then last year, in just 13 games, 43 tackles. So the tackle numbers down a little bit with those 3 less games, but still 12 sacks. Double-digit sacks every year from this guy. And it's interesting, Jerry Jones is not a guy that has always spent a ton of money in free agency, but he usually will be a guy that spends and locks his guys up. Something has happened here, and listen, I don't agree with Micah Parsons, what he did yesterday. I think what he did yesterday, not wearing his jersey and going back and laying on the training table, I think it was kind of childish, and I don't think that's the way to get a deal done. I think you still need to be professional. You can sit out and whatnot. You can hold out. You can hold in. I don't think what he did yesterday, making that public display, is the way to get things done. But I did hear Brian Schottenheimer, that's still weird to think that Brian Schottenheimer is the head coach of the Cowboys, say that they were pretty deep at defensive end, and he thought that they would be okay no matter what. Now, I understand they do have some guys. Marshawn Nealon on the other side, Dante Fowler Jr., Peyton Turner was a guy that was drafted pretty high at that linebacker spot. They got Kenneth Murray Jr. They do have some guys that can rush the passer. They're not nearly in the stratosphere as Micah Parsons, though.
I mean, what are we talking about here? Micah Parsons has been in the NFL for 4 years. He was hurt last year. He was playing through injury. He missed 3 games, but he's playing through injury. Missed 4 games, excuse me. And Jerry Jones kind of uses that as a tactic. Like, this guy was banged up last year, et cetera, et cetera. He wasn't as good last year. In Micah Parsons' first 3 seasons in the NFL, when he was playing every single game, year 1, first team All-Pro, Defensive Rookie of the Year, second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Year 2, first team All-Pro, second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Year 3, third in Defensive Player of the Year voting. In his 3 seasons healthy, he never finished lower than third in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Like, what are we talking about here? This is a guy that he should never have this happen to him. There should never be this sort of conversation, debate, anything what's going on. This is a guy that is a cornerstone piece of your franchise, a foundational piece of any franchise he is on in the NFL. And they're toying with him. I just don't understand why you would do this to a guy.
If they made him available via trade, I'm pretty sure 31 teams would be on the phone.
Everybody
with the
would.
Cowboys, and probably 31 teams have already been on the phone, just kind of checking in. This is something, again, I never thought was an issue because Jerry always seems to get it done. Like, look at Dak in the contract,
Exactly.
all of the stuff around that, and then he ends up signing him for $60 million last year. They get CeeDee Lamb under contract. There's always a show with the Cowboys, right? But so I never thought this was a question that it would get done because Jerry, again, like I said, he's never spent the most in free agency. He usually pays his guys. But when I hear Adam Schefter say this is heading towards divorce, I kind of take notice to that because I don't think Schefty would throw that out there if he didn't know something where, hey, Micah's really done with them or the Cowboys are kind of done with him.
I just think that's the point it's at. I don't think the Cowboys are done with him. I think Micah Parsons is done with this whole act that I just think that is the MO for Jerry Jones, right? He wants the conversation to be about him, which is exactly what we're doing right now. And, you know, the conversation on ESPN's morning shows, it's always talking about what's going on with the Cowboys and Micah Parsons. And I don't think Parsons wants to be part of the song and dance anymore. He is fed up with some of the shots that Jerry Jones has taken at him now. And it's like, I don't really deserve this, man. Like, I've given you everything I've got when I'm on the field. I don't deserve this. I don't need this anymore. I can take my talents elsewhere and get paid immediately. So you either pay me now or I'm going to go somewhere else. And I know it's up to Jerry Jones to trade him, but what are you doing? Like, what is the point? Truly, what is the point of letting this drag out?
Doesn't seem the best way to do your business. And listen, Micah Parsons, he deserves to get paid. I don't like what he did yesterday, personally. I think he could handle that part of this a little better. Maybe he was just pushed to the edge here with all of this. A couple moves in the NFL, and obviously as teams cut down to 53 and their rosters, you will see some more movement. But we had some quarterback movement today. The Minnesota Vikings have signed Carson Wentz to be J.J. McCarthy's backup. They trade Sam Howell and a couple of picks to the Eagles. That kind of makes people think that Tanner McKee and his injury, maybe he'll miss some time. So Sam Howell going to Philadelphia to help back up Jalen Hurts. Aiden O'Connell broke his wrist yesterday. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks for the Vegas Raiders. So I'm guessing they'll be in the market here to try to bring in some quarterback help. Geno Smith, the only other guy you got behind him is Cam Miller, who is a unproven, untested rookie out of, I believe, North Dakota State is where he's from. Speaking of Carson Wentz there. And then Shiloh Sanders, Shador's brother, he gets cut from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today, one day after getting thrown out of a game yesterday for throwing a punch, although I think that was kind of weak, that whole situation. I don't know how that tight end for Buffalo doesn't get in trouble either. So maybe we talk about the Browns and 4 quarterbacks. Some of this quarterback movement, maybe the Browns will be able to offload one of those and get a draft pick or 2 for themselves. Speaking of the NFL, we had some fun doing our Buckeye players we're excited to watch this year. We're going to do a couple players that we're excited to watch in the NFL season this year around the league as well, too. That's coming up next. Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
You think you know the odds? Picture this. You're at the gas station grabbing 4 delicious taquitos when you see an Ohio lottery ticket with 1 in 4 odds. You think, if I buy 4 in a row, 1's a definite win. Sorry, friend, but you'd be wrong. 1 in 4 odds means across the millions of tickets printed, 1 in every 4 is a winner, but not every 4th ticket since they're randomly distributed across the state. But 4 taquitos? That's a guaranteed win, 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 win. Learn more about common lottery myths at ohiolottery.com/knowtheodds. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
The season may be winding down, but there's still time to make the most of Buckeye Lake. At Buckeye Lake Marina, we have year-end deals on boats, accessories, and more to get you ready for next year's adventures. The Buckeye Lake Marina staff is there to help you find the perfect boat at unbeatable prices. Buckeye Lake Marina has a long list of satisfied customers, and you want to be the next. Don't wait. Sail into savings at Buckeye Lake Marina before the year ends and find the boat that's just right for you. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for more.
Hi, welcome to IKEA. Hi, I'm in a whirlwind of college prep. Gotcha. We've got affordable solutions to create the perfect college living space. Great. And visit our website to see how verified college students with an IKEA family account can receive a one-time use 15% off coupon. Nice. You guys think of everything. Pretty much. Offer ends 9/30/25. Valid ID required. Discount applied proportionally across items purchased as shown on receipt. See IKEA-USA.com/ready-for-college for complete terms.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Common Man here. I want to tell you about my guy, Bob Capace, owner-operator of Worthington Jewelers for the past 25 years. If your only experience is going to the mall for jewelry, Bob and his team will blow you away. Service, quality, and a great price. The store is busy all the time because people keep coming back. True story. My 8-year-old daughter says to me, "When can we go see Mr. Capace again? He's nice." Yes, he's nice. Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
Morning Juice, real football talk. Just two guys who aren't afraid to say what needs to be said. And that's how she wrote.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Now streaming mornings on YouTube and 10TV Plus. Attack and dominate.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and the multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I could not imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
Got one of those days that never stops? Try a stop at Speedway and refresh the vibe with 69-cent large big gulp drinks. Get 69-cent large big gulp drinks at Speedway with Speedy Rewards. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 8/26/25. See app for full terms.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
Here's 3 reasons to buy your Blue Jackets ticket plans for the 25-26 season. 1, pick your seat and pick your games. 2, plans start at just 11 games. 3, flexible payment plans. Act now. Visit bluejackets.com/tickets. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
By the afternoon, mostly sunny with highs near 80. Overnight staying clear, dipping into the mid-50s for a chilly start to Monday, which will be a cooler afternoon with highs only in the mid-70s and more sunshine. More sunshine again on Tuesday, but cooler with highs in the low 70s. I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce on 97.1 The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Coffee? These guys don't need coffee. They're jacked on life. And Buckeye football. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Yes, you are. Fan Sports Sunday. Another 40 minutes. We'll take you up until 3 o'clock. Got some Reds baseball coming up later today. 4:10 first pitch out in Arizona as the Reds look to avoid being swept by the Diamondbacks. Pre-game coverage here on The Fan will get underway at 3:40 this afternoon. Talking a little NFL last segment and what's going on with Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys. And earlier today, we did a list of our Buckeyes, top 5 Buckeyes that we're excited to watch this season. And I thought we'd do that with the NFL as well. And it's obviously very hard to do that, narrow it down to just 5 guys in the NFL. But there are some guys, I think, in the year that in the NFL this year that are pretty exciting. And it's going to be interesting to see, maybe exciting, not the right word, but things that we're interested to see. And I think the one that comes to mind for me the most right away is Travis Hunter. How's he going to make the transition to the NFL, being the number 2 pick, and just how much we'll see him and where we'll see him for the Jaguars. If he can literally play both sides of the ball like he did in college, are they going to play him more at wide receiver? Are they going to play him more at defensive back? It's something we haven't really seen tried a lot in the NFL in the past. A few guys have done it. I think of a Devin Hester, who ended up being more of a return guy for your Bears. I think of Champ Bailey. He kind of did it a little bit, but nobody's really done it a lot, and I think it's going to be interesting to see if Travis Hunter can.
Yeah, it's going to be very intriguing. I'm kind of in the camp that I think he can do it. I feel like a lot of people are saying, no, he needs to pick one side of the ball, and maybe it progresses that way, but the way that people talk about Travis Hunter's conditioning makes me think that he can do it to some extent in the NFL. So that's definitely a good pull by you and something that I will want to watch this season. I can't say Travis Hunter is in my top 5 just because, I don't know, there are other guys, other positions.
It's the Jacksonville Jaguars,
yeah,
too.
Exactly, that I'm more intrigued by. But Travis Hunter is one that I feel like people talked about him so much going into the draft, and now that chatter has kind of gone by the wayside because, yeah, he's in Jacksonville, which is a less interesting market, I'd say, in the NFL. And there's just so much other chatter about quarterbacks, et cetera, contract disputes, that maybe that has kind of gone away a little bit. But, yeah, that's a good point by you to bring up Travis Hunter and just what he could do this season in Jacksonville. For me, my number 5 is my quarterback for the Bears, Caleb Williams, just because it is such a large prove-it year for Caleb Williams. You know, statistically, it wasn't a bad rookie season for him last year. Had a good touchdown-to-interception ratio, threw for over 3,000 yards, but the Bears stunk, and largely he needed to be better. Now he's got a new head coach, an offensive mastermind, and Ben Johnson. He's got all the weapons he could ask for and then some. He's got a revamped offensive line with an all-pro and Joe Tooney brought in, former Pro Bowler and Jonah Jackson. Drew Dahlman, one of the top, or he was the top free agent center available, one of the top centers in the NFL. A revamped interior. So, I mean, this is the year, right? Like, you've got to see market improvement from Caleb Williams, and everybody wants to see the guy bust for whatever reason. So I am excited to watch Caleb Williams this year and see how it goes.
I love what the Bears have done for him. They're like, this is our guy. Let's surround him. And they've gone out and got him weapons with Roma Dunze and Luther Burden, DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai. And then, as you mentioned, we always talk about on the offensive line tackles. It's hard sometimes for a younger guy. That rush right up the middle is the toughest. They really solidified the inside of their line. They have done everything they can to help Caleb Williams succeed.
Yes, they have. I'm fired up to see what it all looks like. I think they've shown some signs in the preseason. Just like the Browns, they went undefeated. The Bears were 2-0-1 in the preseason. They tied their first game, but I'm a Bears fan, right? You got to have a little bit of hope going into the season. So I really am hopeful that it looks good this year.
Well, Ryan, you brought up Travis Hunter. I'm bringing up his quarterback. It's put up or shut up time for Trevor Lawrence. That offense has weapons all over the place between Travis Hunter, Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, De'Ami Brown. It's time to find out if Trevor Lawrence is any good or not.
Brian Thomas Jr. as well. Great year last year, his rookie year for the Jags. I'm going with a second-year quarterback here in Bo Nix. There were a lot of people that weren't sure if Bo Nix was the guy. I feel like the pairing of him and Sean Payton is almost him and Drew Brees number 2. It's going to be interesting to see if Bo Nix has a sophomore slump at all with the Denver Broncos. He was a guy that I believed in pretty highly because I loved the completion percentage, the accuracy. He had a great rookie year. Can he avoid that sophomore slump this year?
Number 4 for me on my list is Tyreek Hill. Just so many questions surrounding Tyreek Hill this year. Is he going to finish the season as a Miami Dolphin? It's a rocky relationship. At least it sounds like it's a rocky relationship down there now. Tyreek is an interesting guy. You know, like, his name's in the news a lot, sometimes for the wrong reasons. When he was in Kansas City, he was one of the most electric players, if not the most electric skill position player in the league. You know, early on in Miami, it went really well. He was that same guy, but he's dipped since then. Maybe he regains that form. Maybe he goes somewhere else and regains that form. I think Tyreek Hill is an interesting kind of underlying storyline in the league this season, and I say underlying because he's not a quarterback.
Number 4, I just want to see how he does this year. Emeka Egbuka in that Tampa Bay offense where he's not even going to be the number 2 guy featured on there. That guy's going to be in the slot making life hell for many linemen this year.
I think he was a guy that could have went anywhere in the league and just been a perfect fit. But he goes there and he gets to sit behind Evans and Godwin and be that number 3. What an embarrassment of riches for Baker Mayfield. I kind of cheated on this one, and I didn't necessarily go a player here, but we talked about this a little bit earlier. The Detroit Lions offense. What's it going to be without Ben Johnson? Can they continue to click on all cylinders like they have, or will it be a struggle this year with a new offensive coordinator?
3 for me is Cam Ward. He is the most not talked about first overall pick that's a quarterback maybe of all time. Nobody talks about Cam Ward, and I think that's going to be a good thing for the Tennessee Titans this season. I love the clips, the press conference clips that I've seen from Cam Ward. The guy is calm, cool, and collected. He has aura. I think the guys on the Titans already respect him and see him as the guy. I think Cam Ward could work out very, very nicely in Tennessee this season. I am very excited to watch the Titans.
My number 3 is old man Aaron Rodgers. If he's got it, they're a playoff team. If he's washed out, this is Mike Tomlin's worst team of all time.
I just think this roster with the Steelers is too good. I think it's Aaron Rodgers proof almost for them to be the worst roster of all time. My number 2 is Joe Burrow. I mean, he's one of my favorite players to watch anyway. Can he, and he's going to have to, can he duplicate or better the numbers from last year because they're going to need to score 40 points a game, I feel like, to win consistently this year. They've kept all of his playmakers. They added Noah Fant, who is a ridiculously athletic tight end. Is 5,000 yards out of the question? Well, no, because he had 4,900 last year. But Joe Burrow needs to have an MVP-type season again this year for this Bengals team because the defense is so bad. It's going to be so fun to watch them week in and week out.
I'm with you on that one. Go back to the top of the show. I said Joe Burrow's my MVP this season. My number 2 is Christian McCaffrey because what does this guy have left? Is he washed up? Is he too hurt? Or is he able to recapture that form that made him the best running back in the NFL? I'm not super high on the 49ers if McCaffrey isn't that guy, but if he is back healthy and looking like his old self, he's got something left in the tank, I think the 49ers are back in the playoffs and a very dangerous team this season.
Interesting that they traded for Brian Robinson Jr. this week.
It is very interesting.
Maybe he's not his old self.
Right. That was my first thought when I saw that deal. But that's early in the season, I will have my eyes monitoring Christian McCaffrey. I don't think I will be touching him in fantasy football, though.
My number 2, CJ. Everyone said that was a down year for him last year after his amazing rookie season. And his down year was still won the division and still won a playoff game. Is it a bounce back for him? If they are, they could go a long way in the NFC. If not, maybe they're still good, or maybe it's a downward trend for CJ.
That's a good one to bring up there with Mr. Stroud. My number 1, and I just feel like sometimes there's some players that you're like, gosh, that's a perfect marriage. That's a perfect fit with that team. And I think Caleb Johnson being drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers was a home run. I've never believed Jaylen Warren was an every down back. I think he's a great complement piece in that backfield. I think Caleb Johnson is a guy, the rookie out of Iowa, that can easily rush for over 1,000 yards with this Pittsburgh Steelers team this year. I hate that he went to the Steelers because it is a perfect fit.
I agree with you on that one. Not to mention just the black and yellow to black and yellow right there.
Seems right.
It's the same look, right? My first, how do I want to say this? The guy I am most intrigued to watch this season might be an underrated pick as far as us here in Columbus goes, but Justin Herbert. I'm excited to see what the guy has this season because it's now or never, right? Like quarterback experts, guys that know what they're talking about are like Justin Herbert is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's extremely talented. Production-wise, like what the team has done, we haven't seen that. So with another year of Jim Harbaugh, another year of Ladd McConkey, whatever is going to happen in that running back room, I just think that continuity has them set up to take a step this season. Will they? I think that's going to be on the shoulders of Justin Herbert. So for me, he's an extremely intriguing player in the NFL this year. Is he elite? Is he good? Is he not good? I don't know.
Have you and I ever talked about my hate for Justin Herbert?
I'm with you.
I think he's...
Well, that's the thing. I'm not a Justin Herbert guy. I'm not a believer, so that's why I'm excited to see him.
I'm not a believer at all. I think he's a great fantasy quarterback, not a great real quarterback.
To me, he is Phillip Rivers 2.0. A lot of really meaningless stats.
We'll see.
My number 1, I guess I said, equally as exciting to greatness is a train wreck, and my number 1 is to see what the train wreck in Cleveland is going to look like in that quarterback situation. How are they going to navigate it? Who is going to get the playing time? Are there going to be trades? That is going to be fun to watch.
That is. The Cleveland Browns, they make it so hard to root for them. You didn't think that Dylan and I could do a show for 3 hours and not talk some Blue Jackets, right? Well, you're right. We couldn't. We're going to talk some CBJ coming up next. 2 minutes from now. Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio.
Right now, save up to $404 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
When was the last time you hopped out of bed without that knee or back screaming at you? Or walked down a flight of stairs without having to take your time? You thought to yourself, I'll just tough it out. But nothing changes. Hi, it's Tyvis Powell. It's time to call and schedule that free consultation with Dr. Walkoff and his team at QC Kinetics here in Columbus. I'm glad I did. Myself and others have turned around their lives with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments that work with your body to help restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Natural cellular therapies, no scalpels, no pills, just long-term relief with no dreaded recovery. Check it out at qckinetics.com/Columbus. Bring your x-rays and MRIs to QC Kinetics for a free, no-pressure chat and thorough evaluation to see if you're a good candidate. Find out if you're a good candidate. The consultation is free. Just call QC Kinetics at 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
The summer event is still on at Germain Honda of Dublin, and with football back, Rich is ready to dominate the competition. You can lease the sleek 2025 Honda Accord LX for as low as $249 a month or finance with 3.99% APR. Upgrade to adventure with the 25 Honda Pilot Sport all-wheel drive. Lease starting at $429 per month or 4.49% APR. Visit Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. See dealer for full details.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan. Take the Fan with you wherever you go with the Fan app. Download it now, or we'll find you. You bring your lunch money today? Good, give it to us. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Welcome back in, Fan Sports Sunday. Ryan Baker, Dylan Tyrer, Nate Pooterball here with you. Ace in the YouTube chat talking about Tyreek Hill says, I'm calling Tyreek Hill to the Cowboys or the Vikings this year. I don't know why. I just feel it. Man, could you imagine Tyreek Hill on the Cowboys, the soap opera, gets a bigger cast? I mean, goodness.
I think either one of those would be fun. I don't think either one of them makes sense based off of the already good wide receiver rooms that both of those teams have. But man, oh man, Tyreek Hill on the Cowboys, that would be the soap opera of all soap operas.
George Pickens and Tyreek Hill in the same wide receiver room. You talk about some kind of show, that's for sure. We're watching a little bit of the Tour Championship here today. I know, Dylan, you're a big golf guy. Tommy Fleetwood leading right now at -17. Are we in for another Tommy Fleetwood Sunday collapse here?
I'll be tuned in, that's for sure. Like, I gotta watch. I'm a Tommy guy. Like, I'm rooting for him to get it done. He's just been so close in the last month. He's had multiple opportunities, and he hasn't been able to do it. It would almost be poetic in a sense if he was able to secure his first PGA Tour victory in the Tour Championship. With that said, it would also be kind of cheap in a way that, wait, this guy didn't win an event until the Tour Championship? Kind of crazy to think about considering he's one of the better golfers in the world. But I am rooting for Tommy to get it done. Do I think he does? No, I can't bet on the guy because history repeats itself. History says he can't do it.
No, you can't argue with history sometimes, although you would think eventually he's going to get it done. Hard to believe we've talking about week 0 in football being here, but it's hard to believe we're, 3 weeks away from the Columbus Blue Jackets opening up training camp, that first preseason game, the first of 7, September 21st against the Blues. Hockey is right around the corner. The Blue Jackets, you and I had talked before about some of the offseason moves or lack thereof, and the Jackets pretty much running it back with the same team that they had last year and just continuing that internal growth here, hoping for Jet Greaves and Elvis Merzlikins, that goaltending duo, that tandem to work, and Jet maybe playing like he did at the end of last year, pushing Elvis a little bit. The Jackets have made a few minor moves here in the last couple of weeks. They re-signed restricted free agent defenseman Damon Hunt to a 1-year, 2-way deal. He was the defenseman that came over with the first-round pick in the David Jiricek trade from Minnesota. They signed forward Hudson Fasching to a 1-year, 2-way contract. And then this last one, Dylan, was really kind of interesting for me. It's an intriguing move. They signed veteran defenseman Brendan Smith to a PTO, meaning he'll come to training camp with the Jackets and try to earn a spot with the team in a contract. If not, though, he's showcasing his ability for another team that maybe will need help as a defenseman as well. Listen, there's one thing you can never have enough of in the NHL, and that's defensemen, centers and defensemen. You can never have enough of those. I like this move to bring a veteran presence in with this team. He's around training camp. He can be around these guys and help some of these younger defensemen. I think of someone like a Denton Matejchuk right away that sticks out to me. A guy on that left side that could help him, and kind of a guy maybe not quite as big, but you bring him in, he can be an Eric Goodbranson type guy, help teach these young guys, eat minutes a little bit, a big, physical, defensive defenseman. And you never know. Maybe you find something and he sticks with the team, or maybe he ends up somewhere else. But I like the move.
Yeah, it's a flyer on a veteran player, right? The guy hasn't played in the AHL since the 2017-2018 season, played just a handful of games with the Hartford Wolfpack, the AHL affiliate of the New York Rangers, but he's got just so much experience. 726 regular season games. He's played 59 Stanley Cup playoff games, talking about Brendan Smith. So it's a nice flyer on a guy. See what he's got. 6'2", 200 pounds. You said it. A guy that is a defensive defenseman, can play physical. You know, he's a guy that in his career has traditionally put up right around 70 penalty minutes a season. So that tells you he's going to mix it up a little bit. He's not a scorer by any means. He's a third pair defenseman, probably at best. On a lot of teams, he's probably your extra defenseman. The Blue Jackets have that this year. They've got pretty much a locked and loaded D-core right now, and they've also got some prospects in Cleveland to boot. You talked about Damon Hunt. He's one of those guys. But we'll see. You know, we'll see with Brendan Smith. Like you said, it's never a bad idea to have a veteran around. I feel like the Blue Jackets traditionally have brought in a guy or two like this around training camp every year, a veteran to, you know, prove he's still got it. Brendan Smith, 36 years old right now, so he's definitely nearing the end of his professional career, but we will see. I'm excited to meet the guy at least.
Damon Hunt in Hudson fashion. Probably guys that are really going to help out the Cleveland Monsters roster for most of the year, although Damon Hunt might be the first guy on the call-up list on the defensive side of things if there are injuries, though. Hudson Fashion, a guy I kind of think of in the same sense of Brendan Gaunce, who the Blue Jackets brought back this year, a guy that you could bring up, be fine and serviceable on your fourth line, but really a guy that can help mentor younger guys in Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, Hudson Fasching is a bigger body. He's 30 years old, 6'3", 210 pounds. He's played considerable time in the NHL each of the last 3 seasons with the Islanders. Played 49 games in the 2022-2023 season, 45 games 2 years ago. And this past season played 43 games. So you're talking about half the games and then cups of coffee in the AHL each of the last few years. So he's essentially been that extra forward, or one of a couple of extra forwards for the Islanders. So another guy that I just think it's good to bring in. It's a bottom 6 guy, probably a fourth liner that has size. And the way that people have talked about him is he is an effort player, right? That's what Don Waddell, the Blue Jackets president of hockey ops and their general manager, mentioned when they signed Fasching to the 2-way deal, was that this guy is an effort player. He's a high character player, just a guy that's good to have in the room and around your organization. So I think it's a low risk guy for the Blue Jackets to bring in, and probably one of those guys that maybe he is an extra forward for the team, or if there's an injury, he's able to come up and fill in, a guy with that experience. You always need players like this.
One thing the Jackets really did do this offseason was shore up that bottom 6, right? When you bring in the Miles Woods and the Charlie Coyles in the trade with Colorado there, you're probably looking at a lineup right now that maybe a guy who you signed last year and a Zach Aston Reese, who was a big part of this team on that fourth line, maybe sitting there as your extra forward. That shows that the Jackets have really got some depth in that forward lineup there. I love what they did with the bottom 6. You've got a Matthew Olivier, a Charlie Coyle, a Miles Wood, Cole Sillinger. If he fits in that bottom 6, maybe he gets into that top 6. Who knows? You have guys there, though, that can really play, and Isaac Lundestrom, who will bring a lot of speed. That's one thing they did do with Wood and Lundestrom, is bring some speed to that bottom 6. I don't think we got the flashy moves that we thought maybe we would get from the Jackets this year, but those flashy moves aren't always the moves that win, right? Sometimes it is those underrated moves. And listen, the flashy moves, hopefully for the Blue Jackets, are Adam Fantilli becoming a point-a-game player, Igor Chinnikov staying healthy and scoring 60 or 70 points, Kirill Marchenko. I don't know. I don't know if there is more to Kirill Marchenko's game. Maybe he just produces what he did last year, and guess what? That's still pretty darn good as a top-line right winger.
Yeah, it's very good, but, to be fair, not many teams in the NHL made splashy moves this past offseason. That's just the way it went. A lot of guys re-signed with their previous teams, and there weren't a whole lot of trades. Maybe the Blue Jackets are in the hunt at the playoff or at the trade deadline, and that's when they make a big splash, right? But you talked about that bottom six. I think the Blue Jackets did a great job to really legitimize that bottom six and make it more dangerous with Wood, Lundestrom, Charlie Coyle. And then you add some of these guys. You mentioned Zach Aston-Reese, Hudson Fasching. It creates competition, right? And you want to be able to rotate guys into the lineup and not lose anything. If a guy gets hurt or maybe a guy's had a down few games and you want to get a look at somebody else, you want that bottom six and the fourth line in particular to be very tenacious. So I think that allows that. You've got that internal competition where those guys are going to be pushing each other to try to get into the lineup, and that means you can't dip. Your effort can't dip. You can't dip as a forechecker or physical presence, as a two-way player, defensive presence. So I just think that's good for the Blue Jackets and their bottom six, is that they've brought in some more of these guys to compete and push some of the guys that are currently here and just keep that internal competition going. It's only going to make the team better. I feel like the coaches talk about that every year, particularly around training camp, that they want that competition. They want players to be pushed. They want people to feel uncomfortable and earn their spots every single year. So the Blue Jackets are, again, in position to do that. But really, when it all comes down to it, this roster has been built through the draft. It's been built through high first-round picks in the draft, and those are the players that need to get the Blue Jackets there. The Adam Fantillis, the Cole Sillingers, the Zach Werenskis, Denton Matejchuk, Kent Johnson, everybody like that. They've got to continue to take those steps.
And you mentioned those draft picks. It's going to be fun to maybe be able to keep an eye on them a little easier this year with Caden Lindstrom up in Michigan State. Jackson Smith, the defenseman they just drafted, playing for Penn State this year, playing a little college hockey not too far from Columbus. And it's going to be fun to see when training camp starts and as the preseason goes, how Dean Evison mixes and matches these guys to figure out what the lineup is going to be night in and night out. It's been tough recently for the Reds and the Guardians. Unfortunately, we got to talk about it next. A little baseball talk. Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. At High Bank Distillery, they believe every pour should tell a story. The Whiskey War spirits tell the story of prohibition in every sip. Whiskey War was awarded the best blended whiskey in America 3 years running at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition, the largest and most respected spirits competition in the world. Enjoy their naturally recognized spirits distilled right here in Ohio. Stop by your local liquor store or order a bottle direct to your door at sealbacks.com. Drink the best. Forget the rest. Learn more at highbankdistillery.com.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
At Baths R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement, and that starts with the team who brings your vision to life. Our installers aren't just skilled, they're experts.
This is who we are. This is what we do all day, every day.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks, trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings because you're driving to Paris,
Texas.
Then it's off to Rome,
Georgia.
And you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio.
Right now, save up to $404 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Keep your summer fun going in a new Toyota RAV4, America's best-selling SUV. Now through September 2nd, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 25 RAV4 or 5.99 on RAV4 Hybrid, excludes plug-ins, or lease a gas-powered RAV4 LE for $309 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
If you have an unhealthy obsession with the Blue Jackets, we have just the remedy. Join us Wednesday nights at 7 for the Inside Edge. All the Jackets and hockey conversation you can handle. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When it comes time to replace the roof over your head, you need a name you can trust. Newman Roofing. Don't just take our word for it. Here's our friend Cindy.
We were very happy with our experience, and we would highly recommend Newman to anybody we talk to.
Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
Now at Great Lakes Hyundai of Dublin, lease 2 Elantras for $200. That's right, lease 2 new 2025 Elantra SEs for just $200 a month for 24 months. Both your new Elantras come with complimentary Hyundai maintenance with free oil changes and tire rotations for your entire lease. GLakesHyundaiofDublin.com with approved credit, $39.99 down per unit plus taxes, fees, first month payment, 10K miles per year in time due.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN.
Coffee, iced cap, refreshers. Tim Hortons has all your favorite beverages. And now you can get your favorite bite for less. When you buy any size beverage, add a baked daily donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. So next time you order your favorite Tim's beverage, add something that satisfies your cravings and your wallet. The $1, $2, $3 menu. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra exclusions and terms apply.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
These guys are at work, so you don't have to be. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Final segment, Fan Sports Sunday. Glad to have you along for the ride. Ryan Baker, Dylan Tyrer, and Nate Puderball. There was a time, Dylan, not too long ago where you looked up and the Cleveland Guardians were a half game out of a wild card in the American League. There was a time just last week where you looked up and the Cincinnati Reds were a half game out of a wild card and, in fact, had a lead going into a ninth inning to be in a final wild card spot. What has been the case for the Reds here recently, the bullpen has been doing them no help, and they ended up losing that game. And now as we sit here on this Sunday, the Guardians have lost 4 straight, 2-8 in their last 10, and they are 4 games back of the final wild card spot. In fact, the Kansas City Royals have jumped them in the wild card running. The Reds, they've lost 3 straight, 5-5 in their last 10. They're 2.5 back of the Mets for the final wild card spot. The Guardians playing right now, and let me find, they just started about 2:35. So not long into the game. They're in the bottom of the first. Them and the Texas Rangers are scoreless. The Reds looking to avoid the sweep. The only team in Major League Baseball that has not been swept this year. They're trying to keep that distinction today when they take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. You can hear it right here on the Fan beginning at 3:40, first pitch at 4:10. I know it's a long season in baseball, but the ups and downs of the Reds and Guardians here in the past month are pretty extreme, and it hasn't been good here. They're on a downswing right now.
Yeah, it is a little frustrating on both fronts, right? And that's pretty incredible that the Reds haven't been swept this season. But I always thought the Guardians would hit this rough patch, right? They just treaded water for a lot of time. Then they got hot, and they got themselves right back in the conversation for a wild card spot. Heck, the division got a little bit interesting there just a couple of weeks ago. But I figured they would come back down to earth at some point, losing Emmanuel Clase and then, some of the trade deadline things, et cetera, et cetera. The Reds, though, is the one that I always thought the Reds would get stronger as the year went on. And just like the Guardians, they were hot a couple of weeks ago and really got themselves in there. They're not too far out at this point, right? Like there's still hope for the Cincinnati Reds, but they got to get going. This is a team that I'd really like to see make a push at the end. It's a young roster. You want that experience, right? No matter if you make it or not, these are all important games. They're playoff-style games for the Cincinnati Reds. They've got Hunter Green back. Chase Burns on the shelf right now. But they've got to compete. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to see them fade. You want to see them in these games, battling. And that's how this team is going to grow. I just have that faith in Terry Francona, right, that he's going to have his team ready to play. So I'd love to see the Reds go on another little run and see if they can't make it interesting again.
And you mentioned the pitching staff a little bit. Hunter Green back, Nick Lodolo out with a blister issue. Hopefully he comes back soon. Chase Burns hopefully will be back soon, and maybe see him in more of a late inning closer type role, setup man type role. I think that would be great moving down the stretch for him. The Reds had a tough game last night. Andrew Abbott, his worst game of his career last night. He's been so good this year. The one thing that has kept me with the Reds, a little bit of hope, and this has been the whole time, they're 4 games over 500 still right now, even though they're 2.5 back. Their run differential, which took a hit last night, losing 10-1 to the Diamondbacks, their run differential is plus 43. They've still had a plus run differential the whole way, and that's the one thing that's kind of given me hope with the Reds. I might have given up, but that run differential, it's not everything, but it kind of shows you. Whereas the Guardians, who are sitting at 500 right now, they've been negative all season. They're negative 45 right now. So I don't know. They're doing a great job to fight and stay afloat. I would be done on the Reds if it wasn't for the run differential.
I think that's fair. It's one of those underlying numbers that you see and you're like, okay, there's something here. There's some hope here. The Reds are a fascinating team for me in that they have such a young roster. It's kind of like the Blue Jackets, right? Where like you've got all these young first-round picks and you want them to keep making positive steps. But like, who's going to be the guy for the Reds, right? You've obviously got Ellie De La Cruz. Are there going to be a couple of other guys that really become dudes for them, Is it going to be a player like Matt McClain? Is it somebody else that's on that roster? You've, of course, got the pitching. I think Abbott's been a really nice find and that he's had an awesome year. Some of those other guys like Nick Martinez, I think, has been very, very solid at times for the Reds this season. Hunter Green is obviously Hunter Green. Chase Burns is a huge part of the future. Or a huge part of the future. Did I mess up the words there? But somebody has got to become that guy to get them over the hump, right? Like you need another really, really consistent quality bat in that lineup. So can that be somebody down the stretch? Is somebody able to take that next step and really become one of those players? That's what I'll be watching for.
It's going to be interesting. Miguel Andujar has been a nice pickup for them in the middle of that lineup. He's mostly a guy that's going to bat against left-handed pitching, but someone needs to step up. The Reds, you can hear them right here on the Fan, starting at 3:40 today. Dylan, it has been fun. A long 3-hour show with you. A little game day coming up next, then Cincinnati Reds baseball on the Fan.
Here's a quick 10-second reminder that the Buckeyes have won the Natty. Also, we air all the games, and we always will. Thank you. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
Common Man here. Our friends at Care Heating and Cooling in Lenox are feeling the love. They're doing something extraordinary for Central Ohio families. The Lenox Feel the Love program provides deserving families and individuals with indoor heating and cooling equipment as well as installation at no cost. You can nominate someone who you think is deserving at feelthelove.com. Nominations be accepted through August 31st. Let's give back to our hometown heroes. Selfless neighbor, maybe who always puts everybody first. Community leaders like teachers, firefighters, and volunteers, or just families facing hard times. Whoever you think is worthy, send a nomination. As of 2024, the Feel the Love program has completed more than 350 installations with help of dealers like Care Heating and Cooling. Our friends at Lenox donate all the equipment, and Care donates the labor and materials, and the installs are done at no cost. Remember, the deadline is August 31st. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included: Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain, and it's the Toyota National Sales Event all month long at Toyota West. With over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles available, Toyota West at I-270 and Georgesville Road has the car you're looking for. And right now at Toyota West, take advantage of no payments for 90 days, and every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 72-hour exchange policy plus a 3-month warranty for qualified vehicles. Come see us at the Germain Auto Mall on Georgesville Road or get started today at ToyotaWest.com. No payments for 90 days, deferred payment, interest accrued at time of inception with approved credit, expires 8/31.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
For a limited time, you can enjoy a savory sausage McMuffin with egg meal, including golden hash browns and a small hot coffee for just $5. Price and participation may vary.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It's child's play to donate your car, truck, RV, or boat to Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Ohio. They'll pick it up free of charge, steer you through the paperwork, and a hefty tax deduction rolls your way as you help provide a home away from home for families of seriously ill, hospitalized children. For more information about donating your vehicle to Ronald McDonald House Charities, visit rmhc-centralohio.org or call 614-CARS-HELP.